FDMG!
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Umar Johnson. I am a certified school psychologist.
Hi, Dr. Umar. I'm so happy that you're my principal. I love FDMG. Can you tell me about the school?
We are going to make history. We are going to shock the world. We are going to transform the entire community, one black boy at a time. In this school, you don't have to worry about special education. In this school, you don't have to worry about ADHD diagnoses. In this school, you will never get a phone call from a teacher or an administrator telling you that your child needs dangerous psychiatric medication in order to get an education.
FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's 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 coming. Oh, it's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. Thought his personality be twerking. It's twerking.
Running up against the clock all day today. Thank you guys again for tuning on in. We're going to be kind of mixing and matching today because I want to get caught up on all of the older Umar Johnson videos that we are behind on. I took a week off. If I take a week off, it actually turns into about 10 or 11 days based upon the schedule here on YouTube. So that's going to be the agenda for today. I want to start, though, with some Umar comments. I'm comments made by Umar where he was talking about Austin Metcalf. And this goes back to last month. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys have heard this, but it's remarkable. We'll get into that to start. Real quick, SH says, thanks for grinding it out this week. Yeah, it's been a grind. It has been a grind. I ain't gonna lie. We appreciate your hard work. Yeah, I wish I had more time. I've been telling myself that I would go full time. I just can't find the time to be able to do that, you know. But we'll see how things go in the future because there's all kinds of other stuff. There's the way I look at it is I've missed a lot of opportunities here on YouTube because I don't have enough time to be on here. I will be covering other topics and I have other stuff lined up too that I've been planning for it's been over 5 years. But I've been caught in the Umar Johnson saga. So here we are. So thank you so much. It has been a grind, but I'm so thankful for you guys and thank you for all of your support too. I appreciate it. Thanks, SH Play, for that super chat. Much love, many blessings. Sent in 2 Jules 100. Thank you so much. Much love and many blessings to you. Thank you for that. Mission Calming sent 1,000 jewels, says cheers. Cheers to you as well. I appreciate that. Shalvet Israel sent 550 jewels, says stay hydrated. Yes, I have me some tea. I have the tea lined up right here. Yeah. Thank you for the 550 jewels. You guys are so kind and gracious. Miss Vernica sent in 2 jewels. Silver Star, thank you so much for that. You guys really are. Thank you guys. Daxter says, calm, man, y'all follow part 10. Okay. Here we go, Daxter. Thank you for that super chat. And Temperance Angel sent in 250 gems. Laughing disc. Okay, thank you guys, all of y'all for the support. I appreciate it. Okay. So I want to get right on into this because I want to try to make sure that we get through everything so that we can have a reset for next week. That way we'll be all caught up. Right. The title of this is Umar is Lost and Struggling. And the reason why I titled that is because I released a couple of more videos today too. It's just edited down versions from yesterday's live stream. And it's remarkable because on one hand, I recognize that Umar, he's predatory, but then on the other hand, he's lost too. And I'm not saying that it justifies him being predatory. I mean, what I'm saying is that the fact that he's predatory towards Black women, it really speaks to the fact that he's lost. He's lost in life. He doesn't know what it means to be a man. He doesn't know what it means to be a father. He doesn't know what it means to be a husband. He doesn't even know what it means to be a son. So yesterday's live, really this whole week, but yesterday's live stream, there was something about, I said, you know, this guy, he is lost and he's struggling. And the craziest part is he doesn't even recognize it. I think he's so used to living his life like this that it doesn't register just how down he is. And we all get down from time to time. Yeah, I've been there, trust me. Right? But we have to make changes. We have to decide to do things differently. Right? We have to humble ourselves. It's a big thing, big lesson I had to learn. You got to humble yourself. Umar hasn't done that. He's an egomaniac, the narcissism. He's a sociopath, in my opinion, borderline psychopath. And he thinks that he's the next Christ. He calls himself the Black Christ, the Black Messiah, so forth and so on. So in his own twisted, delusional mind, he doesn't realize how down he is and how bad his situation is. And he just keeps going and keeps going. And I said it, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, that if you look at Umar's trajectory in life, and I've studied his whole life, right, that it's been all downhill. I don't know. We could actually say that it's been all downhill since he goes to college the first time as an undergraduate. I mean, he picks up degrees along the way, but it's just a bunch of mess all the way throughout. And then more recently with this, well, it's not even recently, but with the FDMG school scam, if we start in 2010 and see where he was at back then, he wasn't working, but he still had some sort of decorum about being a professional, sort of, even though he wasn't. He was still pretending. But if you look at from then to now and to see where he's at the age of 51, about to be 52, yeah, he's lost and struggling. It's a cautionary tale for all of us. We can all learn from this. All right. Okay. So Umar is lost and struggling. He's also online spreading lies, and he's a pathological liar. He's also scamming with the school scam. He's also out here running through all these women, including young women in their 20s. We covered that yesterday. He's 51. He's up here messing with 20-year-olds. He's 51, and he's trying to get info and intel on these young ladies at this event in Newark. Yeah, he's lost and struggling because any man who's living like that at the age of 51, it's a shame, but he doesn't recognize it. Okay, we covered that yesterday. Also released some clips today, or at least one clip today. I'm going to release 2 more clips tomorrow from that particular interview. That particular live stream yesterday. Ideally, I would like to have something up here every single day. I just cannot find the time. I've been trying to, but it's just not possible. But that's okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Let's get into it, okay? If at any point you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button. It is sad, and part of it too is my audio. What's going on? Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, maybe that's why people were putting the flashing lights in there. I apologize. Okay, is that better? Okay. Yeah, let me mark the timestamp here just so that I'll put this inside of the chat. not the chat, but I'll put this inside the comment section so that people can skip to right here. Okay, thank you guys. I saw that, but for some reason I didn't read anything. Did you guys hear me enough, or do I need to redo all that? Let me know. I can redo it, but I think that that's you guys got to hear enough of it, right? Was it okay? Okay. All right. Anyway, let's get going here. All right. And real quick, it is quite sad too, and part of it is because Umar, he's received all of the support that he's needed to be successful, and we talked about that. I think that was last week. He's received all the support that he's needed, and he's tricked it all off. Okay, you still heard me? Okay, cool. Okay, so let's get into. So I've been wanting to cover this for some time. So Austin Metcalf, this is something that was really, really big in the news. And again, if I had more time, I would have covered it back then. But Umar made some comments on Big Loon's podcast in and around June 11th of 2026 about what took place with Metcalf. So what I want to do is I want to play what Umar says. I want to play you guys some video, and then we're going to talk about what Umar Johnson says. Watch this.
Umar acquit a white boy of murder and self-defense.
Yes. Do you think that the 35 years felt like justice, though? What would have...
Yeah, let me skip through because this isn't the part. I think it's a little bit later.
Stabs him or he falls.
Oh, here it go. Here it go right here. Watch this.
Was it first degree?
He didn't have to be charged at all.
So
this could have been self-defense.
A white young boy body drops, and you think he should not have been charged?
Can Dr. Umar acquit a white boy of murder and self-defense?
Yes. Do you think that the 35 years felt like justice, though? What
it should have never came to that, first of all. It should have never came to that.
Yeah, he yells a lot too. This is part of Umar in order to dominate the conversation is he yells. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit because I don't know if it's hurting your ears, but it's hurting mine.
First of all.
So you think he should have got off innocent of the charges that was brought on Karmelo Anthony?
Let's go back because you're putting.
And also Metcalf, he was convicted.
In the cart before the horse. Let's go back to the indictment from the grand jury. The grand jury decided Karmelo would be charged with murder. Who's on the grand jury, Loon? You don't know. It's a secret. I want you to see how white supremacy operates behind.
Okay, but if it's a secret, you don't know who's on it. What are you saying? What, that it's white supremacy because you don't know who's on it? Umar, cut it out.
The scenes. You can't challenge the grand jury.
This ain't got nothing to do with white supremacy, y'all. Period.
Loon.
And I said it. The deceased, rest in peace. And anyone else who was under that tent, they shouldn't have, shouldn't have gotten into an argument in the first place because it wasn't that serious, and it shouldn't have been escalated on either side. And Metcalf shouldn't have stabbed him. Austin shouldn't have stabbed him. It's unnecessary.
Because you don't even know who they are.
Right.
So the people who decided this 17-year-old would be charged with murder are complete secrets. And you and I both know they all white. Are you with me?
Yeah, notice how Umar's thumb is black. That's because he dyed his hair before he went on here. He always does this.
So first, deal with the grand jury. Him being charged with murder was a crime in and of itself.
So what do you say about the event?
Let me give you one more. You're moving too fast. Hold on. In Texas, if you're 17, you're automatically tried as an adult. Grand jury had no control over that. Are you with me?
Yes.
He was 17.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I got it backwards. I apologize, everyone. So let me take this back. Karmelo Anthony is the individual who stabbed Austin Metcalf. So rest in peace, Austin Metcalf. I want to restate this. I apologize. So what I said, and I said this before, that it shouldn't have been escalated in the first place, right? So Austin Metcalf shouldn't have escalated the situation. No one should have been arguing about that in the first place, seating, because it's not that serious. But Karmelo Anthony shouldn't have stabbed him. That was unnecessary. Okay, if you want to punch him or you want to push him back, that's fine. But that's just excessive and unnecessary. Okay, so I just want to make that clear, and I want to apologize because I got it backwards. So someone correct me inside the chat room. Thank you for that. All right, here we go.
He's automatically tried as an adult, but he doesn't automatically have to be indicted with murder. That could have been aggravated, right? Manslaughter.
Right.
There's a whole list of crimes they could have went with.
So you're saying he should have been charged, just not with the first degree murder or whatever. Was it first degree?
He didn't have to be charged at all.
Yeah, this is diabolical. Look at this guy. See, anything to paint the narrative of white supremacy that somehow this has to. So a black person can do this to a white person, and it's not a problem. But if this was a white boy who stabbed a black boy, Umar, he'll take a whole different same situation, except same circumstance, except you change the color of the skin or the so-called race, which is a social construct, not a scientific fact. Umar's going to take the opposite position.
So
this could have been self-defense.
A white young boy.
It could be self-defense. Let's see.
Boy body drops, and you think he should not have been charged.
The reason you labeled it a white boy is you're putting it within the context of the race.
See, Umar doesn't want to answer that question. You see how he deflects? I was just talking about that. He deflects. Watch this.
Right.
There's a whole list of crimes they could have went with.
So you're saying he should have been charged, just not with the first degree murder or whatever. Was it first degree?
He didn't have to be charged at all.
So
this could have been self-defense.
A white young boy body drops, and you think he should not have been charged.
The reason you labeled it a white boy is you're putting it within the context of the racism of American society.
See how he deflects?
Let me flip it around for you, Loon. If 210 pound football players, black football players, walk up to a 135 pound black boy, grab him by the hoodie, put him in a headlock.
Okay, that's not what happened. What is he talking about? You see how he starts exaggerating? Umar, this guy, he's such a pathological liar. Karmelo Anthony listed playing weight was 200. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Karmelo. I'm sorry. That's what I was saying. 6'7". That's not him. I was looking at that. I apologize. I was looking at the basketball player. And by the way, when this took place initially, when the news came on with this, and they had this name, I actually thought it was Carmelo Anthony, the basketball player from back in the day. You guys remember? All right. I just want to fact check Umar on this. Yeah, Anthony, also an athlete, was listed at 5'11" and 162 pounds. So 5'11" and 162 pounds. And then let's see. You did too. Was there anyone else who thought that? I thought I really did. I was like, oh man, what is going on? Yeah. How much did Austin Metcalf weigh? Yeah, approximately 200. It says approximately 200 to 225 pounds. So there is a remarkable difference there, right? But listen to what Umar says.
Right, manslaughter.
Right.
There's a whole list of crimes they could have went with.
So you're saying he should have been charged, just not with the first degree murder or whatever. Was it first degree?
He didn't have to be charged at all.
Okay, 210.
So
this could have been self-defense.
A white young boy body drops, and you think he should not have been charged.
The reason you labeled it a white boy is you're putting it within the context of the racism of American society. Let me flip it around for you, Loon. If 210 pound football players, black football players, walk up to a 135 pound black boy.
Okay, no, he wasn't 135 pounds. He's always exaggerating. I just looked it up. He was 162 pounds. That's a significant difference, Umar. Stop.
Football players. Racism of American society. Let me flip it around for you, Loon. If 210 pound football players, black football players, walk up to a 135 pound black boy, grab him by the hoodie, put him in the head.
Okay, that's not even what happened. Grabbed him by the hoodie.
Lock, try to jump.
Put him in the head. Like, I didn't hear anything about that. Did anyone hear anything about that? Let me know in the chat room. I didn't hear anything about that.
And stomp him out. And that white.
No one got stomped out, Umar. What are you talking about? See, this guy, he will exaggerate and lie and make up all kinds. He is. That's exactly what I was saying. He's just making up shit. Yeah, you're right about that, but that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right here. Umar, he's taking it to a whole nother level. Misrepresenting the facts and all kind of stuff. But yeah, you're right. Racism is real.
White boy unintentionally stabs him, or he falls onto the white boy's knife, which is what.
What? Yeah, he said stomped him out. Now he's saying that he fell on the knife. Let me rewind that. This guy.
Him out, and that white boy unintentionally stabs him, or he falls onto the white boy's knife, which is what we believe happened.
You believe that Austin Metcalf fell onto Carmelo Anthony's knife? Let's go look at the video footage. Okay, you can't see much, but let's see if someone gets stomped out, if someone's grabbed by the hoodie and put in a headlock, and it was two 210-pound football players against 130-pound Carmelo Anthony, even though he was 162 pounds. Let's see. By the way, Metcalf was also listed at 6 foot tall. Or he rest in peace, 6 feet tall. And Carmelo Anthony was listed at 5'11". So it's 1 inch difference, Umar. Let's go look. Now you can't see much, but I just want to show you guys over there in that corner. You see that tent, the yellow tent? That's where all of this whole altercation took place. Let's just watch and we'll see what we can see. Let's see if we can make out anything that Umar Johnson is saying, including that Metcalf fell on the knife. Yeah, we really can't see much, but we should be able to see someone falling down onto a knife. I don't see anyone being grabbed by the hoodie or even that he had a hoodie on, but we'll see in just a moment. But that he's been put in a headlock, I don't see any of that. It's hard to make out. Well, you guys can read what they're saying on there. Right now, you see him reach over to push, and Carmelo strikes back and stabs him. Okay, and then Carmelo, he runs. Okay, there wasn't anyone put in the headlock, grabbed by the hoodie. It wasn't the two brothers did this to him and stomped him out. None of that happened. And no, Metcalf did not fall on a knife, Umar. Let's go back. He pushed him and he stabbed him. Okay, and it's unnecessary. Okay, you can push him back, you can punch him, you can stomp him out at that point, but it's not necessary to use lethal force. It's simply not. And I would tell my sons the same thing. Okay, you got to learn how to de-escalate, don't escalate. And yeah, Metcalf shouldn't have approached him like that. And if there were any adults there, they should have calmed this down in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. You don't stab someone because they push you unless your life is in jeopardy. And in my opinion, his life was not in jeopardy. Okay, one more time. Yeah, it's also damning because he runs. Okay, at this point, his life is not in jeopardy either. So why run away? If it's self-defense, there's no need to do that. If the so-called threat has been neutralized. But there's something else in here that I noticed too, is that at a certain point, he tries to blend in with the crowd. You see how he's slowing down and trying to walk? As if nothing happened before he was running. Then he tries to blend in with the crowd. Just unnecessary. Just unnecessary. All right. And again, I would have covered all this if I had time when this actually was taking place. Same thing with the current situation down in not Louisiana, Mississippi. Let's go back and listen to what Umar said.
Austin, 210 pound football players, black football players, walk up to a 135-pound black boy, grab him by the hoodie, put him in a headlock, try to jump him and stomp him out. And that white boy unintentionally stabs him, or he falls onto the white boy's knife, which is what we believe happened. Okay. Austin fell onto Karmelo's knife trying to attack him because the knife is 3.5 inches.
That didn't happen.
The cut was only 2. Loon, if I'm stabbing you, why am I going halfway with a knife blade that's only 3.5 inches? You fell onto my knife. Regardless, Loon, do you really think?
This guy. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay. And I know people have a different view on this. And listen, people, you can have whatever view you want to. But what I would tell my son is, no, if someone pushes you, you don't stab them. Okay. You can push them back. You can punch them. You can stomp them out. But you don't use lethal force. Now, if they pull a knife, that's a different situation. Okay. And by law, this is what I'm talking about right here. Whatever everybody else want to think, you can think what you want to. That's up to you. Okay. It's excessive and unnecessary.
Those 2 black boys who fell on that white boy's knife are going to get convicted of murder in 35 years.
No.
This doesn't even make sense because he's saying now it's 2. So 2 black boys fell on this. What is he talking about?
Do you think they even get indicted with murder?
That's a fact. No,
we know
I don't.
they don't. You know why? Because there's the case of another boy by the name of Kason Allison. Have you heard of him?
No.
Same year, same.
All right. Now, again, Umar, he's already said something that is totally ridiculous, and now he wants to just change the subject. Then we're going to move on.
If I'm stabbing you, why am I going halfway with a knife blade that's only 3.5 inches? You fell onto my knife. Regardless, Loon, do you really think those 2 black boys who fell on that white boy's knife,
yeah, he says regardless,
are going to get convicted of murder in 35 years?
No.
Do you think they even get indicted with murder?
Okay, but that's not even the issue. The issue is you lying about the whole scenario in the first place. She's making up a whole false narrative. And people do that. When they want to paint a particular narrative, they make up a whole false narrative. Okay. That's what's happening, in my opinion, down there in Mississippi on both sides. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is true. Carmelo Anthony literally brought a knife to a fist fight. And from what I saw, there wasn't an actual fist fight. It was a push. And in my opinion, and legally, you can't justify stabbing someone simply because they pushed you, unless your life is in jeopardy. And in my opinion, his life was not in jeopardy. All right, let's get to the next one here. This was an interview from Umar from July 6th of 2026. We covered this for members, and we covered it extensively. I just want to play this for you guys because Umar kind of gives an update on FDMG. Here we go.
Johnson, anything you want to say before we go away today? Because I know that you pick back up your schedule book and you getting all around the world again. So what's
Father David is funny. I'm sorry. Blackwood says, I've been part of a lot that has happened to you, brother, the struggle and the come up. You stayed the course and actual progression in life. You deserve the blessing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you for hanging in there with me. Yeah, I've struggled tremendously. And yeah, I have. I've come a long way and I still got a long way to go. And sometimes, and not even sometimes, but I think about where I would have liked to have been in my life at this point. And I can look back and say, okay, I could have done this differently, because you have wisdom right after you get to a certain age. But I don't have a time machine. But again, like I was saying with Umar, I would have liked to have seen him turn things around and get on the right path. And he's had all of the support that he's needed in order to do that. And people helped me out, and I'm thankful for that. Back in the day, my wife and I, we budget. I shouldn't even be saying this. Let me take this back because I don't want people. Anyway. People helped us out, and we help people out when we can. I'll just say that, okay? But it's been a long road, and I would have liked to have seen Umar take steps to get his life back on track. And I'm not saying that where I was at is like comparable to Umar. That's not what I'm saying. I think his situation is really, really bad. But you just take one step at a time, one day at a time, and you can turn things around, right? But you got to have a plan, and you got to stick to it. The plan has to make sense, and then you work hard every single day. And in my case, my wife and I, we've worked very hard over the last decade or so. It's been close to a decade to get things turned around. Okay, yeah. So I'll continue to stay the course, and thank you for the kind words too. I just wish I had more time to be on here because there's all kinds of topics that I would like to talk about, and I would have talked extensively about the Austin Metcalf situation, Karmelo Anthony situation, and the thing that's taking place down there, I keep forgetting in Mississippi. Yeah. Because again, people tend to have an orientation to these things based upon race, and I just don't have that because I don't prescribe to the social construct of race. I don't. I think it's bullshit, and I think that it should be banned as a social construct. Okay. Now, for descriptive purposes, I can see that. Right. But when people say, okay, this is the black race or the white race or this race or the African race, that's a bunch of bullshit. And that's one of the reasons why how people see things is distorted. But I don't have that. I don't look at things like that, okay, including what's taking place down there in Mississippi. But if I had more time, I will be going in on all of that for sure. Thanks, Black Wolf. Giannis says he cares more about this kid than his daughter. Yeah, but the thing, Giannis, it's not that he cared about Karmelo Anthony. That's not the case. He doesn't care about anybody. But if he can push a narrative that he can use this tragedy, and it is a tragedy because these are young people. Okay, Karmelo Anthony made a horrible decision. I'm a father. Listen, when my sons fuck up, I don't make excuses. I don't. I hold them to task, and I hold them accountable, and they know that about me. See? And I don't even I'm not a disciplinarian either with my kids. I'm not. I'll just say, okay, that's right or that's wrong, or you shouldn't have done that, or next time do better, and I'll leave it alone. That's it. I ain't got time to be going back and forth and none of that. I'm that's it. Okay, I just told you what, because as a father, I got to give you the wisdom. I'm moving on. You can take it, you can make changes, or you can keep doing what you're doing. Whatever you want to do, that's on you. Okay. But if that was my son and he did some shit like that, I'd been like, you fucked up. You shouldn't have did that, son. You can always walk away. And I already told all my kids that if people at school, if they doing stupid shit, because what happens, I apologize. I'll tell you guys, this is some fatherhood lessons. If the kids at school doing stupid shit, you don't go to where they're at. You go away from what, and a lot of times people do that. They'll go look. I learned a long time ago, no, that's not what you do. especially at Old Pharaoh. You don't back in the day off of Skyline, Eastside Piru. You don't do that. Okay, now if it's your homies or something, that's a little bit different, but that's not the case out here. It's like, no, so if there's stuff going on that puts you in jeopardy, or you can get caught up in some foolishness and you go towards it, that's on you. Well, in this situation, I would say, hey, listen, son, you should have walked away. Well, it was raining. Well, that's not an excuse. You go find another tent, or come home, or call me, whatever. I don't know, do something. And then if you choose to stay and someone pushes you, you don't pull a knife and stab them and kill the person. You don't do that. It's unnecessary. And now you got to deal with the consequences. And we have to deal with the consequences because you fucked up. And that's it. Okay. So let me be clear about something. It's not that Umar cared about Karmelo Anthony or anybody else. He just uses it because he wants to paint the narrative of perpetual Black victimhood and no accountability for anything. See, he doesn't know what it means to be a father. And I already told people that he's never been held accountable. We did a whole show on that. He's never been held accountable. As I can tell, as a child, he wasn't held accountable. As a young adult, he wasn't held accountable as an adult, and he ain't being held accountable at the age of 51, about to be 52. But he will take these tragedies, and it is tragic, and it's sad, and it shouldn't have happened. It was totally unnecessary, and he'll flip it and frame it to his own benefit, and to the point where he'll say, "Oh, what if they fell on the knife? Did nobody fall on no knife? Cut it out. It's ridiculous." Thanks, Giannis. A lady says, Umar is sweating. I hope it was a shower. Why you gotta say a shower day? Because a young lady yesterday said Umar, sometimes he don't take showers, and I believe it. But he won't take them for a couple of days. How's it going, Natasha? Okay. God's little princess says Umar dyed his hair before he went on this. Yeah, Leonard, you funny. No, he did. Can't you tell? You can tell. You can look at his thumb.
That's a fact.
I don't mean to be bringing.
They don't,
because he was 225, But you can even tell. You can look at it. This is freshly dyed, and that's because he's going on a big podcast. And I've told people that's what he does. He'll get cleaned up. He'll get his hair cut nice. He'll get trimmed up, and then he'll dye his hair profusely. Because he knows that this is going to get a lot of views. But under normal circumstances, he's sitting in the mama closet looking bummy. Don't take showers or nothing. But if you look at his thumb, let me see here. On his left hand, yeah, I can't get the exact. Oh, there it is. He puts it on. Yeah, you see how dark his thumb is? His thumbnail? See, he was dyeing his hair. I remember a long time ago, we should try to figure that out. I was like, why is this thumb? But now we know. It's because he dyes his hair profusely, right? Okay, thanks, guys. Little princess. Eastby says a grand jury could indict a Pookie, a Pookie sandwich. Okay, what's up, Eastby? And thanks, guys. Little princess. Thanks, a lady. Afro Punk Chick sent in 30 jewels. It's a flower. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, SH Play says Umar Johnson lying with conviction. Yeah, and he does it. That's why he tends to yell, because he wants to make it seem as if he really believes it. See, what happens is when he starts lying, he's not thinking about the lies that he's telling. Sometimes he does. You'll see him stop and he'll start blinking like this. Then he'll tell a lie because he's thinking of it. But oftentimes he's flowing in his lie. And he's not thinking about it. So he'll yell it to make it seem as if he really believes it. And then the more he tells it, the more he believes it. Right? Thanks, SH Play. Dan, I'll just say Dan. Thank you. Sent in 200 jewels, says sunshine. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And then Black Wolf says same with the Kobe rant, blaming the NBA. Yeah, like it was some sort of conspiracy. The NBA against it. It wouldn't benefit the NBA at all, and it didn't to lose someone like Kobe, because he could have been an ambassador. And rest in peace to Kobe. He could have been an ambassador for the league for decades to come. Can you imagine him sitting at Laker games? You see what I'm saying? Can you imagine when the Lakers won the championship, the last time they won the championship with LeBron and AD? Can you imagine if he was sitting courtside? Well, that was it, COVID. But you guys see my point, right? So no, it wouldn't benefit the NBA. But Umar comes up with all these conspiracy theories because he wants to promote the notion and idea that racism has something to do with it. No, it didn't have nothing to do with racism. Okay. And it's also disrespectful to Kobe, and disrespectful to Gigi, and disrespectful to Kobe's widow. Just horrible. Thanks, Black Wolf. And then Freak a Beat sent in 800 Jewels says, turn it up. All right, okay. Thank you, Freak a Beat. I don't even know if I should say that. Okay. Thank you for that, for the 800 Jewels. No, I thought about it. That was during COVID, but you guys see my point, right? You know, when they get, wouldn't it have been interesting once they get Luka if Kobe was courtside? You guys see my point. Or once they, LeBron leaves. You see. So anyway, Rosetta says sent in 30 jewels. Thank you so much in flower. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks everyone for all the support. Okay, let's get going here because I was supposed to be having a short show. So let's get to the next one. This is Umar on Word Radio with Father David, July 6th of 2026. Here we go. About 700 people in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Our goal today is 400 likes. Okay, let's see if we get to 400. We're at 188 right now. Okay, so we got a good chance. Here we go.
Johnson, anything you want to say before we go away today? Because I know that you pick back up your schedule book and you getting all around the world again. So what's coming up for you?
I guess this is the last run, Baba Day, because if we successful in getting this mayor to intervene against this discrimination that we're facing from the inspector and his superiors.
This is all lies. This is all lies.
Then I won't be traveling a lot more, you know, and I look forward to the transition. I do look forward to the
He's been saying that for years, going back to at least 2018. He says when we purchase this trap bando or when we get a building, I'm not going to be able to lecture anymore. Let me see if I can go find that.
The transition years, then I won't be traveling a lot more, you know, and I look forward to the transition. I do look forward to the transition. But in the meantime, I will be in Trenton, New Jersey at the Source of Knowledge bookstore, 867 Broad Street. There is it is absolutely free, Black book giveaway for children. So if you have children, please come on out. That is Sunday, July the 19th at the Source of Knowledge bookstore from 12 until 8, 867 Broad Street in Newark, New Jersey. And then, of course, Nat Turner will be down at the Nat Turner Trail on August the 21st, which is the anniversary of the Nat Turner War. You can go to natturnerlibrary.com, natturnerlibrary.com, get your tickets for that. I'll be in Detroit on the 11th, this coming Saturday. There is a health fair put on by a Black church in Detroit, and I'm going to speak on mental health for Black people. A suicide rate for Black men has exceeded the suicide rate for white men for the first time in American history, Baba David. Let me say that again. The suicide rate for Black men has exceeded the suicide rate for white men for the first.
Yeah, we fact checked that during the live stream for members only, and that's not true. Umar's making that up too.
Time in American history. So I'm going to be speaking on mental health. I'm also going to be speaking on the school to prison pipeline in Detroit. Cincinnati, Ohio, August the 20th. The National Black Firefighters Association is having a gala in Cincinnati on August the 20th. And we got a few other stops along the way as well. But anybody who needs that information, they can just text me on my phone, 215-989-9858. Again, that is 215-989-9858.
So have you talked to the mayor? You say you
I emailed the mayor on Wednesday, Baba. So this.
Okay, let me just pause this because I don't want to get too far into this. Remember how Umar said that his speaking engagements. Let me go back.
Look forward to the transition, but in the meantime, superiors. Then I won't be traveling a lot more, you know, and I look forward to the transition, getting this mayor to intervene against this discrimination that we're facing from the inspector and his superiors. Then I won't be traveling a lot more, you know, and I look forward to the transition. I do look forward to the transition.
Okay, so he's saying this July 6th of 2026. Let's go to April 19th of 2019.
Year of having a formal speaking schedule. Okay. Because in 2010, resist this onslaught of white supremacy to still be who we are after 400 years. So I want to hold a week-long celebration at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy campus in Delaware, where we will have seminars, workshops, activities, food, vendors, entertainment. One of the things I try to do with the message message and the oratory, because I do consider my message to be critical, especially as it relates to the school to prison pipeline and teaching parents their rights and how to engage with the school. I try to go to places that a lot of other scholars don't go to. You know, a lot of scholars are motivated by capitalism and making money, so they don't go to small towns that don't have a lot of black folks or that don't have a lot of black consciousness. You know, I make it my duty to go not just to the big cities, but to the small ones. So Buffalo and New York was motivated out of that need to just get around and touch some communities that I don't get to touch that often. And then I'll be in Cleveland, Ohio on Saturday, April the 27th. I'll be in Cleveland. And anyone can get information for that on my website, drumarjohnson.com, drumarjohnson.com. And I have a few other dates
here it
coming
comes.
up. Cincinnati, Louisville, Nashville, Tennessee, Memphis, Los Angeles, Oakland. This year, 2019, is probably going to be my last year of having a formal speaking schedule. Because in 2010, we hope to have the school ready. And by August the 21st of 2020, which is the same.
Okay, again, he meant to say 2020. He didn't mean to say 2010. This video is from 2019, 2 months after he acquired the trap banners. But you see how he talks about his speaking schedule, how it's supposed to change? Okay, he's been saying that for many years. Now, it has changed like this year and last year, but that's because ain't nobody, he's fallen off, and ain't nobody requesting him anymore like they used to.
But in the meantime, then I won't be traveling a lot more against this discrimination that we're facing from the inspector and his superiors. Then I won't be traveling a lot more, you know. And
this is like 7 years later. Umar, he's diabolical. He's so diabolical. Okay. Let's see. Much love and many blessings sent in to Jules. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. They finally shipped this book. It's a book for the camera. I bought two of them. It's a Sony ZV-E10, and I invested in a whole bunch of other stuff too. I just got to find the time, but they finally shipped it. It was supposed to be shipped it was supposed to be shipped on Monday, or I think it was last Friday. Anyway, I just saw that pop up. Thank you. Much love, many blessings.
I look forward to the trend.
Let me do these other real quick. Lewis X says, play the part when Patrick falls asleep. I don't think that's this video, Lewis. It's another one. I would have to go and find it. This is a different interview. But I remember that. I'll see if I can find it because normally Umar comes on this show like once a month. So I would have to find it like probably 4 weeks before this one. I'll go and look and see. But if I can't find it, if you guys don't know, Patrick was on here the previous time they interviewed Umar, and Umar was talking and he fell asleep. He sure did. That was hilarious. Thanks, Louis Luck. Anton sent in 250 jewels and said, laughing disco. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Black Wolf says, to be honest, Lenon, I'm glad you didn't dive into the real serious topics. I listen and talk about all that enough. Okay. The cooker set is my downtime from all that to Rose Humor. Yeah. We tend to have we have a good time. And I know that there's a lot of topics out there that are really serious, and people get caught up in it. And the Nolan Wells things is a perfect example of that. And people get lost in the sauce, you know. And at some points, I think that there's people, because I've seen some stuff online. I think, and I shouldn't say some. I've actually looked into a lot of it. I just haven't had time to actually report on it. I had hoped that I would. But the thing is that I've noticed that there are people that they'll say stuff just to stir the pot, not because they have any evidence or anything like that, just to stir the pot. It reminds me of just a quick example. I have the videos too. There were these two women, and I'll pull it up. Let me pull it up for you guys. Yeah, this is what I mean. If I had more time, I would be doing this anyway. I mean, I would be on here, and we will be getting into all these different topics. But I think people get they get emotional, and I understand why. But emotionalism can compromise intellectual process, and then things can get really, really convoluted at a certain point. You know. And then it's not about the truth. It's just about keeping the emotions going. And that's media manipulation. I should talk a lot about that. Media mind control and media manipulation. A lot of it has to do with keeping people in an emotional state. And if you're in an emotional state, it's going to be difficult to think critically about things. And you may think that you're just pursuing truth, but it's hard to find the truth if you're just being emotional. You got to think about things, right? So let me show you what I'm talking about. This is from July 15th of 2026, and this video appeared online.
Talk about Nolan Wells today. So today, we actually know someone that works transporting bodies, human remains, and things like that.
Okay, so right away, let me just show you guys how I approach this. Okay, who are these women? Okay, how close are they to the Nolan Wells case? Are they experts in their field? One of them have scrubs on, okay? But notice what they say.
All right,
or
so
what
we
one
want
of
to
them
talk
said.
about Nolan Wells today. So today, we actually know someone that works transporting bodies, human remains.
Okay, so they know someone who transports bodies. Who is this person? Okay, that's number one. It's more than number one. But you guys see, these are the types of questions I would ask right off the bat. Is this person credible? Could they be lying about anything? What proof did they provide these young ladies to where in what this person says? Again, it becomes hearsay. What this person says is double hearsay. Okay, it's them plus they heard this from somebody else. But what evidence did they provide to these young ladies to prove what their claim happens to be? Well, and I'll show you what I mean. This is what I mean by critical analysis: is set their emotions aside. Watch this.
And things like that. So today I got a call from that person, and they were just talking about.
Okay, what time did they call? Why did they call you? How often do you talk with this person? Again, is this person credible? Where do they work exactly? Right? What's their exact occupation, the name of what they do? Someone who transports body? Okay, what's the name of that? Just what I mean by just critical questions.
The body that they came across. This was Nolan Wells. So
okay, and then I don't know what this is. I didn't notice this stuff. I didn't know this. So it says Nolan Xavier Wells deceased. So I think this is the evidence that they're providing that I guess this person sent them, but anyone could have just wrote this on a piece of paper and just sent it, or they could have manufactured it themselves. Okay, let me tell y'all something else. If this were true, the individual who sent that shit and it told them this information, okay, they would be hemmed up legally too. And that information would already have been out. You guys understand what I'm saying? Because it's not like it would be a gang. This is what I mean by critical thinking. It wouldn't be a gang of people transporting the body, like it's transported here, and then it's transported here, it's transported here, it's transported here, it's transported here, transported here, and it's different people. That's not how that works. Furthermore, only certain people are going to be able to actually view the body. This reminds me, in point of fact, because we brought this up earlier, there were people on the scene of Kobe's. Do you guys know this? The Kobe helicopter crash that took pictures, and they were circulating in Los Angeles, and they got hemmed up legally. In fact, if memory serves me correctly, Kobe Bryant's wife, I think she filed a lawsuit for that, if memory serves me correctly. So it wouldn't be difficult for investigators because there's something, it's called, same thing in cybersecurity. If you, let's say if you've been tasked with a cell phone and you have to get evidence off of that cell phone, evidence that may have been so-called deleted, right? Well, everyone who touches that, and someone give me the term because I can think of it right now. Everyone who touched it, it's a custody, something of custody. I should remember this, but there is and whoever touches this along the way, it has to be documented when they touched the phone, what they did with the phone, what time it was, where they had it, where they put it, what they did with it, and then the chain of custody. There we go. Oh, my goodness gracious. Same thing with bodies. There's a chain of custody, and especially in this situation because this is high profile. So they would be able to identify, investigator would be able to identify every single person who came in contact with this body, and whoever so-called leaked this information and took a picture of this, they would be able to find that person very quickly. This is what I mean by critical thinking. Let's go.
This was Nolan Wells. So before knowing all that, he said that.
Okay, how do they know that it's Nolan Wells though? Because someone could just write this on a piece of paper. Where's the proof of it?
The body was mistreated.
Yeah.
It looked abused. It looked like he was tortured.
Okay, now the body was mistreated, that he was abused, and that he was tortured. Okay, well, what does that mean exactly? I'm gonna build this up. Matter of fact, I'll just watch this. What does that mean exactly? If it was abused, did the person see scarring? Did they see blunt force trauma? Did they see blood on the body? Let me replay what they say here.
It was mistreated.
Yeah.
It looked abused. It looked like he was tortured.
Okay, now if they're, again, whoever's saying that he was tortured and that the body looked abused and mistreated, there would have to have been physical signs on the exterior, like on the surface, the skin, right, of the body, in order to make that determination or to make that observation. But if that's the case, the second autopsy would have already revealed that. Right? Is that what the second autopsy, the independent autopsy, is that what that revealed? That the body looked abused? And again, the person who's seeing this, allegedly, seeing this body that has been abused, and this is a person that's transported, they're not doing an autopsy. So they don't know what's going on behind the head or any of that stuff. They're making a physical observation on the surface of the body, if that makes sense to people. But if that was the case, then that would have already been proven in the autopsy, the independent autopsy, right? This is what I mean by critical thinking. But people get so emotional about this shit, not because, listen, it's race. That's all it is. It's race. And people see some shit like this and they running out, jumping out the window, as we used to say, they running with it. It don't even make sense. Where's the evidence of it, of any of this? Now, who am I going to believe? These random women on YouTube or whatever they on, and they heard this from a friend, but the friend isn't identified, blah, 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 or the person who conducted the autopsy, the independent autopsy. You see what I'm saying? Let's keep going.
Looked as if he was burnt, maybe.
Okay, it looks as if. Okay, you got to know if you're going to throw this out there. It looks as if he's burnt. Okay, that would have definitely been in the autopsy, right? See, because they're trying to, what they're painting is this notion that he was lynched. Let's be real about it. Hit the one. Boy, I wish I had more time. I would have so many more subscribers and so many more views. Real talk. But I'm stuck in the Umar Johnson saga. It's okay. But you guys see my point? If this body was burnt, because what they're doing there, because again, a lot of this, it's in Mississippi, and remember what happened in Mississippi and blah, 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 and the lynching and all this kind, that ain't got nothing to do with this. Not this, what they're saying, but they're spinning it in that way. It kind of looked like, no. Did you get it corrected, son? Okay. All right. You need to find out if they're going to be there, though, on Monday. Okay. All right. First thing, okay? All right. Part of what they're spinning here is this notion of a lynching. But see, the autopsy, the independent autopsy would have already revealed that, right? It didn't say anything about Nolan Wells' body being burnt. They didn't say anything like that. And people ran with this. Yeah, people ran with this. Yeah, absolutely. And see, like I said, I don't approach these types of things from the vantage points of race. And yeah, racism is real. I deal with it all the time. Trust me. Okay, I've been dealing with it my whole life. A lot of people can't even relate to that unless you're black. Or I mean, there's other groups of people who face it too. But there's people who can't relate. They like, oh, no, it does exist. But it's one thing when it exists. And it's real. It's another thing when people make up shit, because you're not going to get to the truth of anything if you're just making things up. Okay, so let's continue. I want to go through this whole thing real quick.
Looked as if he was burnt, maybe.
Where?
Okay, what do you mean burnt? Maybe, and then she says where?
Face, body. Said he was burnt.
Okay, if his burnt, it's his face and body is burnt, then that would have been on the autopsy, ma'am. right? And that would have been the first, probably the first thing that they would have talked about at that press conference. And I watched the press conference too. What's his name? Crump. That would have been the first thing they brought up, right? And there's evidence of foul play now. The body looks as if it was burnt. The body looks as if it was mistreated, or whatever the lady was saying here.
And not only that, his body was mistreated when they transported him.
So
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
as they were transporting him, he was actually face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting the body, when, you know, only a couple of people work that job, they all know you don't transport the body face down. That's kind of very...
Okay, where's the evidence that he was transported face down? And I don't know if they transport him, if they ever let me go look it up. Yes, bodies can occasionally be transported face down, though it is rare and strictly reserved for specific medical, anatomical, or preservation circumstances rather than standard mortuary transfer. Anyway, where's the proof of this? Now, if this person saw this and they're going to be willing to send you this little piece of paper with some writing on it that I showed earlier, why don't they take a picture of this so-called body where it's face down? Right?
So sorry that family had to go through this. Really,
But today, we actually found out. Heart goes out to the family.
Yes.
Transport the body face down. That's kind of very disrespectful. So you always have them face up. Well, specifically, his body whatever reason, was face down. And me personally, I took that as disrespect.
Yeah.
Lady, cut it out.
Heart goes out to the family.
Yes, definitely.
Because all we know is what they put out
on the internet.
Yeah, but y'all putting out some shit though too. You ain't seen the parents say nothing about this or Ben Crump. Y'all should be apologizing to the family for putting this type of stuff out there with no receipts whatsoever and just making up. It sounds like you making it up, to be honest with you.
But today, we actually found out a lot about his autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Yeah.
You found out about the autopsy without reading the autopsy based upon some phantom person who transported the body and didn't conduct the autopsy? People ran with this. And again, I haven't watched this whole thing. I'm actually reacting to it right here on the spot. But that's what I mean by critical thinking. And, you know, my heart goes out to the family. That's to get people emotional. No, what are the facts? You know about the autopsy without reading the autopsy. Well, then where'd you get the information about an autopsy that you didn't read about? From the phantom person that sent you the name on a piece of paper that transported the body, who didn't conduct the autopsy?
They put out
on the internet.
But today, we actually found out a lot about his autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, this video came out on July 15th based upon my records. And I have a whole folder where I've been archiving a lot of this stuff. Same thing with the interviews that Officer Tatum did. I was going to go through all that stuff. I just ain't got the time. It's a missed opportunity, but it is what it is. When was the second autopsy of Nolan Wells released? I think it was last week, wasn't it? July 22nd. This video is from July 15th. So they know this information a week before the actual autopsy results are released. And the autopsy results so part of it was inconclusive. How's it going, Amira? It doesn't make sense. And people ran with this.
Oh, we know.
Y'all don't even want to hear me what I got to say about that audio. Y'all be so mad at me. At least some of y'all be so mad. But anyway, let's keep going.
Know is what they put out
on the internet.
But today we actually found out a lot about his autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Yeah,
it's heartbreaking.
I'm so sorry that family have to go through this. Really, just
want to give our condolences to the family. You know, as a mom or moms,
grandmothers,
dads. Family, period. You know, just we give the most prayers to you, and we stand behind you because we know right what really happened.
Right. So,
and at the end of the day, whatever lie.
No, they don't know what happened. Yeah, and someone had asked real quick, so what do you think happened to him? The answer is simple. I don't know. I don't know what happened. And that's okay. Most of these people talking don't know what happened. That's online making up shit. They don't know what happened. See, I even have in my mind, I didn't actually put, because I'm going to put it in a PowerPoint presentation. What are the possibilities of what happened to Nolan Wells? Okay, we're going to set all this other stuff aside just based upon the facts that we know. What are the possibilities? And based upon what I understand with the receipts that I have and what I've watched and the facts that are actually that are out there, I'm not talking about this topic. I'm talking about actual facts. There's really only about 5 or 6 possibilities. I don't know which possibility it is, and I could run them down with you guys too. But that would be a whole nother show. And I would actually put it into a presentation, and then we would go down because it goes step by step. And if you go down this route, then it goes this way and it branches off with these possibilities. You go down this way, then it branches out like this. And then on this third one, it branches out this way. Okay. And then on each of the top 3 modules, one is that he stayed on the island. Okay. And then out of that, there's outgrowth from that of what could have taken place. Number 2 is that he got back on the boat. And then there's outgrowth from that. Another one is that he stayed on the island. Well, that's actually part of that first one. But there's a third one. Anyway, I have it up here. I just can't think of what the third one is. But each one there's an outgrowth, and you just follow it down. But I don't know exactly what took place. But based upon what I understand, there's about 5, maybe 6 possibilities. But see, it's okay to say I don't know, as opposed to making up things based upon, I don't know, a lot of this is race driven.
Those families have covered up or whatever lies they're trying to cover. We're sorry. Yeah. And we're here for you. And we just want you to know that what was seen today was unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And
so what do you mean what you saw? I thought you said you're somebody you know saw it. Hit the one. Didn't they say that they have somebody like a friend that transported the body, that they're the one, but now they're saying that they saw what they saw today.
And at the end of the day, whatever lies those families have covered.
Are you saying that racism does not exist? I already said that it does. I actually said that earlier, and I said how I experienced it. And that's just what I mean. People get really emotional when you bring this topic up. See that? Being perfectly rational. And these 2 women right here, they're making this up. But people want to believe. And that's one of the problems with race. But I already said it just a while ago that, yeah, racism exists. The problem is that when there's no evidence of racism being a part of something, that people throw this in there. But real talk, whether race exists within this scenario or not, that has nothing to do with my analysis of what they're saying. These women are making this up. But it's really interesting how people, when you bring up this issue of race, because it's so ingrained in people, or even if you're talking about something that their perspective on it is based upon race, and you're being perfectly rational, all of a sudden they got an issue. These two ladies right here, they're making it up. Okay, let me go back.
Right. So,
and at the end of the day, whatever lies those families have covered up, or whatever lies they're trying to cover, we're sorry.
yeah.
And we're here for you. And we just want you to know that what was seen today
was unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
See, they're saying that what they saw today, they didn't see anything. That's not what they said at the beginning. But let's keep going.
And that's why we want to inform what's going on during the transport. Like
this
that.
isn't something you can be quiet on
At all.
when you've seen something so heartbreaking.
Yeah, this is something that people often say to me when I say stuff that they don't agree with. So as long as they agree with what I say about Umar, then they're cool. But as soon as I talk about something else and they don't agree with it, then they say you should stick with Umar. Okay, my approach to this is perfectly rational and intelligent. These ladies are making this up, and I've already provided receipts on why it doesn't make any sense. Now you can accept it, or you don't have to. You can accept it, or you can just, it doesn't make any difference. But let's be clear about something. Just because I may have a differing view from anyone else doesn't mean that somehow I don't have the right to speak on it. Okay, I do know this, that these young ladies right here, they've already contradicted themselves several times in this video, and what they're saying here is simply not true. Okay, let's keep going.
As a child, go through something traumatic.
Traumatic, yes.
It hurts to know that was done to him in the ways that we can't even express.
Right.
And as a person, you should have.
See, when she's saying what was done to him, she's referring to that the body was burnt and all this stuff, but the autopsy doesn't prove that to be the case. It does not at all. Okay, let's keep going.
Some type of.
And I'm referring to the second autopsy, the independent autopsy. And Benjamin Crump was the one that read that out.
Humanity.
Right.
And I felt like those people who was transporting him did not have humanity in no way, shape, or form. Because if I can feel the way I feel about the situation, just listening to what happened, you also can listen to what happened to this child.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that is a child that you did that to.
Right.
So this child needs justice.
Justice.
Because
Justice,
we're not going to sleep until he gets it.
At all. And I heard the feds are in Mississippi right now. So justice for Nolan. Well.
Yeah, one more time, because I didn't really understand what they were saying
I
there.
feel about the situation, just listening to what happened, you also can listen to what happened to this child.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that is a child that
Okay, what does she mean by listen to what happened?
that was done to him in the ways that we can't even express.
Right.
And as a person, you should have
Hold on.
something so heartbreaking as a child, go through something traumatic.
Traumatic. Yes.
It hurts to know that was done to him in the ways.
Yeah, but she doesn't know what was done to him. She doesn't know. The parents don't know. Ben Crump doesn't know.
That we can't even express.
Right.
And as a person, you should have some type of humanity.
Right.
And I felt like those people who was transporting him did not have humanity. And
Okay, but wouldn't that include your friend who transported the body though too? This doesn't make any sense.
no way, shape, or form. Because if I can feel the way I feel about the situation, just listening to what happened, you also can listen to what happened to this child.
Right.
Yeah, but she doesn't have any proof of what happened. Yeah, they really are. I mean, they're just they're saying a lot of nothing in regards to the facts.
Because at the end of the day, that is a child that you did that to.
Right.
So this child needs justice.
Justice.
Because
Justice
we're
for-
not going to sleep
At
until
all.
he gets it.
At all. And I heard the feds
Yeah, they just talking.
are in Mississippi right now. So justice for Nolan Wells.
No matter what.
Our heart goes out to his mom,
His
his family, everybody.
And just know, families, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
Now, has Ben Crump referenced this particular video? Has Nolan Wells' parents referenced this particular video? Not that I've seen. The point that I want to make here is that there's been a lot of things that people have stated about this Nolan Wells case with no proof or evidence whatsoever. But because of the emotionalism, and yeah, part of it is the racial component of this. People see things based in a particular way, and they get emotional. They get emotional when someone has a different view. They get emotional whenever race is brought up. They get emotional whenever someone says something that they don't necessarily believe in. And then in this case, they were actually reporting on this. There's plenty of other examples I can give too, because I've actually have it archived inside of a specific folder. People will take what they want to take in order to paint whatever narrative that they most likely believe in. But the truth of the matter is that as of right now, I don't know what happened. As of right now, the parents don't know what happened. As of right now, Ben Crump doesn't know what happened. And therefore, for people to be online thinking that they know what happened, exactly what happened, it's ridiculous to me. All right. Let me get to these super chats real quick. Natasha says Umar should be tired of his own mess. What a shame. Yeah, but I mean, he lives in it. He doesn't know any other way. So I don't even think it registers in Umar's mind. Thanks, Natasha. Lusak says the interesting thing is it's always someone else telling you how bad off you are and what you should be doing. Yeah. Well, the thing is that if things are if your life is not where it should be, what tends to happen for people is that they're engulfed in it, so they don't necessarily feel as if things are need to change, unless they really recognize it, and then they get to the point where they can be honest and say, okay, I need to make these changes, right? And then sometimes it takes other people from the outside looking in to say, hey, listen, this right here, you got to get this corrected, you got to get this corrected, so forth and so on. So in Umar's case, he's never been held accountable like that, and he hasn't had people in his life. Another thing, he's narcissistic, but he hasn't had people in his life that's been able to get to him to a certain point reasonably to let him know that he needs to change things. Because and on top of that, he thinks that he's the Messiah, he's the Black Christ. Thanks, what's up? Anton sent in a gold coin. Thank you so much for that. Freaka Beat sent in 100 jewels, says Marshmallow High. What is Marshmallow High? I never heard that one. And then Sunday. Thank you so much, Freaka Beat. Van Varner says Uncle Alert. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that as well. Okay. And then Jay Civic says, if people are willing to pay top dollar for a reassuring fantasy, offering them the quiet, boring truth is bad business. Yeah. Yeah. And the truth is, when it comes to this Nolan Wells thing, people don't know. People don't know what happened. And like I said, there's only about, I would say six or seven possibilities. Okay? And again, like I said, he either got on that boat, he didn't get on the boat, and those are really the top two things there. Meaning that he didn't get on the boat and he stayed on the island, and then from that you actually branch it off from there. But there's so many different possibilities when you talk about if he actually got on the boat, and then there's a lot of possibilities too, but not as many if he actually stayed on the island. Okay, and the reason why is because the boat, they have a record of where it went, and all of that travel time. If he actually got on the boat, there's all types of possibilities that actually could have happened. Whereas if he stayed on the island, there's really maybe three possibilities, maybe four. No, three. I think it's three. Yeah, I think there's three possibilities. The point is, I don't know. Okay? But people get online and they act like they do know what happened, and that's part of the problem. And then a lot of times, based upon race, they decide on what they think is happened. No, we should go based upon the facts. Okay. Now, if race was a motivating factor in this, and that comes out, okay, well, fine. Okay. Thanks, Jay Civic. Sharif says independent autopsy did not receive throat or lung. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, and the reason, based upon my research, the reason why, and there's experts they've spoken about this, is because there's further testing that was going to be done, or that is being done. It may be have already been done on the throat and on the lung. And I would think that the throat to look deeper into that. They're looking for fractures to see if there was any type of strangulation. Okay. And then in terms of the lung, they're looking to see if there's water in the lungs to determine whether or not he actually drowned. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sharif. Anton sent in 10 jewels, a gold coin. Thank you so much. User 225 says, I'm addicted to clowning Umar Johnson. And all right, stop. As I explained, if this story was credible, news stations would be at their door asking the same questions you bring up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ben Crump, right, would have talked about it. The parents would have talked about it. Nancy Grace would have talked about it, right? And I don't know, I don't think she did, because I haven't watched too many of hers, but she's had different people on to talk, including Officer Tatum, right? So absolutely, it would have been all over the place. Think about it. Same thing when the audio comes out. There's a person who stated that she was a audio engineer, and I know exactly what that is. It's an audio engineer, and that they enhance the audio, right? When that first came out, I was like, this is really interesting, but let me wait and see. Let me wait and see. Let's be patient on this. If I told y'all what I know about that, people be like, oh, now you should be talking about this now, because now I know, blah, blah, blah. I'm really right there. Okay. Thanks, SH Play. U225 says these ladies are lying how Umar Johnson lied. Do y'all see? I don't think it's on that level. I just think this is more, and Umar does lie a lot, but I think this is more clout chasing and just spinning a narrative to get attention from people. But again, the problem is that people ran with it. Okay. Thanks, U225. TJ says that an autopsy was completed independently and found that there was a cover up. We don't know all the facts, but there was foul play involved. No, the independent autopsy didn't say anything about foul play. They said that that further investigation needs to take place, and it didn't prove that there was a cover up either. Okay, so based upon what was shared at the press conference, where Benjamin Crump read the autopsy. No, it wasn't that. They didn't conclude that there was a cover up, and they didn't conclude that there was a foul play. What they said was that further investigation needs to take place. And what they referenced was at the back of the skull that there was a pooling of blood there, and that was something that needed to be further investigated. And they also suggested, Ben Crump suggested that the rest of the body would need to be subject to an independent autopsy as well. Okay, it was the lungs and the throat. Okay, thanks, TJ. Yana says, the sad reality is that most of the community don't want the truth. They want a narrative. That's why they defend O.J. Simpson despite the evidence. Yeah, that's another example. And again, there's people who they believe that O.J. Simpson committed, unalived his ex-wife. There's people who believe that he didn't to this day. And see, even still, people argue about that because it's brought up in, I mean, let me tell y'all something about mass media. And media manipulation. The general population is manipulated by mass media to put the general population at odds with each other. And they do that by triggering the general population and putting people in emotional states. And there's very specific topics that they use in order to do that. One is race. And in this country, it's probably a preeminent topic. Another one is religion. Another one is sexuality, right? Meaning if someone is heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, what have you. Another one is religion. Another one is politics. And so that's why in general, you'll see stories that center around these types of topics. And they're spun in a particular way to where you can divide the general population. That's why you have Fox versus CNN. It could be the same story, but it's spun differently on Fox than compared to CNN. Why is that the case? There's only one truth, but there's narratives that are created. And people tune in and they get invested in it. Why do they get invested? Because of emotionalism. So if it's dealing with race, they get triggered, it becomes emotional. Okay, I'm impartial in these regards. I know how media manipulation works. Okay. I know how people can be manipulated and how narratives can be spun. Umar does that all the time. I've been studying him doing it, painting narratives for a very long time. Right. So anything dealing with race in that O.J. Simpson case, that was a major there was a major racial component to that, even to this day. Right, when people bring it up and people get emotional. Right? Thanks, Giannis. Derek says, if the South is Bible Belt, MS is the belt buckle. What are you talking about? What in the world are you talking about? Thanks, Derek. DJ says, Information Man did a great live stream on Nolan. Yeah, I haven't checked it out. Bob, and thank you, TJ, for the super chat. And thanks, Derek. Thanks, Giannis. And then Bob Cosmic sent 440 jewels and said Uncle Alert. Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you guys for all the super chats and everything else. Let's get back to this because I want to make sure we get through everything today so that we can be reset for next week. Here we go.
Forward to the transition. But in the meantime, I will be in Trenton, New Jersey at the Source of Knowledge bookstore, 867 Broad Street. There is a free, it is absolutely free, Black book giveaway for children. So if you have children, please come on out. That is Sunday, July the 19th at the Source of Knowledge bookstore from 12 until 8, 867 Broad Street in Newark, New Jersey. And then, of course, Nat Turner will be down at the Nat Turner Trail on August the 21st, which is the anniversary of the Nat Turner War. You can go to natturnerlibrary.com, natturnerlibrary.com, get your tickets for that. I'll be in Detroit on the 11th, this coming Saturday. There is a health fair put on by a Black church in Detroit, and I'm going to speak on mental health for Black people. A suicide rate for Black men has exceeded the suicide rate for white men for the first time in American history, Baba David.
That's not
Let me
true.
say that again. The suicide rate for Black men has exceeded the suicide rate for white men for the first time in American history. So I'm going to be speaking on mental health. I'm also going to be speaking on the school to prison pipeline in Detroit. Cincinnati, Ohio, August the 20th. The National Black Firefighters Association is having a gala in Cincinnati on August the 20th. And we got a few other stops along the way as well. But anybody who need that information, they can just text me on my phone, 215-989-9858. Again, that is 215-989-9858.
So that, have you talked to the mayor? You say you
I emailed the mayor on Wednesday, Baba. So this coming Wednesday will be 1 week. I'm going to give him 2 weeks. Because as you know, we had that murder by the police, shot that brother in the back in Wilmington a couple days ago.
Wow.
You know, Benjamin.
And he said 2 weeks, so that would have been the 20th would have been, the 2 weeks would have been up. But Umar hasn't, from what I remember, he hasn't updated on what happened once whatever he said he was going to do. He didn't do nothing. Anyway, and by the way, he's referring to a brother that was shot in the back. It was close to FDMG, the abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware. But we haven't seen Umar doing any marches or anything out there, have we?
He shot that brother in the back in Wilmington a couple days ago.
Wow.
You know, Benjamin Crump is down there now, so it's a real big thing. So I do want to be respectful because I'm sure that's a real big issue right now.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to give him 2 weeks. But if I don't hear from the mayor by the following Wednesday or a representative of his, then we're probably going to look at doing a boycott. So I want all my Dr. Umar supporters
He's making this up on the spot. He ain't going to do nothing.
around the world to know that I might need you to show up and show out in Wilmington, Delaware to protest the discriminatory treatment that we're receiving by the building inspector in the city of Wilmington. And we'll also be getting an attorney as well because we may have to fight this in court. But they don't want us to open. They never thought we would finish. Now that we're finished, they're trying to pull out every stop they can to prevent us from getting an inspection.
What excuses is the inspector giving you for now?
They won't give me an answer. I asked them, why do y'all want us to get the HVAC re-inspected? And why do y'all want us to get the plumbing
Brand new HVAC.
We already passed the inspection, Baba David, a couple years ago.
So now he's saying that he's passed inspection years ago. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And we've had no problems. So why do we have to get it inspected again? It's because he don't want us to pass. And so,
you know, that it doesn't even make any sense. It makes no sense. Yeah, he was talking about this years ago on the Breakfast Club that he's going to do a boycott years ago.
what he's going to do is he's going to tell the plumbing inspector and the HVAC inspector to find a reason to fail us. That's what this is about. I want him to get re-inspected so we can find a reason to fail him this time. This is all black. 3 black people are.
See, it makes no sense. It doesn't benefit the city to fail Umar arbitrarily. It makes no sense. He's just making this up.
Blocking us right now. No white person is involved.
Patrick, do you know the mayor?
And then he blames it on black people.
Patrick? I don't know. Is you mute on? I can't hear you. Anyhow, I was wondering because Patrick knows a lot of people in high places in Wilmington, Delaware.
No, he doesn't. Anyway, for members, I did a whole full breakdown of this and some other stuff too. I don't want to get deep into it. I want to make sure that we get through everything so that we can be up to date here. Here's another video from July 11, 2026. It's not much here, but just to get caught up. So he's out in Detroit This woman is part of the Umar Johnson cult, the one that's sitting down as well. And this just goes to show you that Umar's fallen off. I mean, this is like literally inside of a parking lot. I mean, where this podium is located, it's dirt. They're actually standing on dirt.
You have the food brochure, which is used for exclusively breast.
He has his posters up, and none of this exists.
And baby. So it's important to know the difference, because if your child is breastfed, you might be using the traditional growth chart, and they might misdiagnose your child as failure to thrive or obese. So that is something you have to know and advocate for your child. Childhood obesity is starting during pregnancy. So if the mother is overweight while she's pregnant, her child is at a predisposition of being overweight.
Yeah, this is literally in the parking lot. Let me go over back though, because maybe I got it wrong. I thought I saw dirt over there. Yeah, there's dirt back there in the back, towards the back. But I think where the podium is, it looks like there is some asphalt there. I just want to be factual here.
If the mother is overweight while she's pregnant, her child is at a predisposition of being overweight. Research shows that infants who are exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of life is at a reduced rate of being obese and having type.
Yeah, he's falling off so bad.
1 diabetes. American Academy of Pediatrics released a statement that recommends breastfeeding for the first 6 months and not included.
Holding seminars in warehouse parking lots. No, I think he's in front of a church. You can see the cross behind him. Okay. Now this the same day he did this one.
Peace and Pan Africanism. Peace and Pan Africanism. Peace and Pan Africanism. Peace and Pan Africanism. This is your big brother King Kong Consciousness, Dr. Umar coming to you live and direct from.
This was July 11th,
Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to all my Michigan Africans, my Highland Park Africans, my Pontiac Africans, my Inkster Africans, my Flint Africans, my Kalamazoo Africans. I am in Detroit, Michigan. I'm speaking today at the Rising Sun Missionary Baptist Church, the Rising Sun Missionary Baptist Church on Whittier Avenue today at 10 o'clock. I'm going to be talking about the mental health of the black community. I'm also going to be talking about the special education and ADHD wars against black children. So if you live in Detroit, you don't have to pay no money. It is a free service that's being offered at the Rising Star Missionary Baptist Church on Whittier Avenue today in Detroit. It's a whole health fair. It's an entire health fair going on from 9 o'clock until 2 o'clock. And Dr. Umar is going to speak today in Detroit at the Rising Star Missionary Baptist Church at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11. And then I'll take some pictures and sign some books. If you don't have
yeah, be careful, Umar. Sign some books.
A copy of my book, Black Parent Advocate, make sure you slide by and get a copy of my book, Black Parent Advocate. Detroit, I'm in the building. Come see the.
Did he say speaking out back? Did he actually say that? I didn't catch it. Thank you, Black Antern Smith, for the 2 jewels. I appreciate it. Here we go.
Prince, Rising Sun Missionary Baptist Church, Whittier Avenue. And then I'm going to slide by the African World Fest because I've never been to the Detroit African World Fest. I've never been to the Detroit African World Fest, so I'm going to slide by the African World.
This reminds me when he was gambling.
Fest when I'm done fulfilling my duties at the Rising Star Missionary Baptist Church. So Detroit, I'm pulling up at the festival. Grab your queens, because you know how they go crazy when King Kong is in the building. Detroit, we still.
It goes to show you where his mind is always at.
Got to get an FDMG Detroit. We still need an FDMG Detroit. This your big brother King Kong Consciousness. One love.
All right, and then another one from that day.
Pan Africanism. This is Dr. Umar Tunde, Black America's #1 certified school psychologist. I'm coming back to Cincinnati, Ohio, Thursday, August the 20th, 6 p.m. at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Cincinnati. It is the Black Firefighters Convention. You don't want to miss it. For more information, go to cafafire.org. That's CAFA.org. It is the Black Firefighters Convention, Cincinnati, Ohio, Thursday, August the 20th, 6 p.m., Hyatt Regency, featuring the Prince of Pan Africanism, Dr. Umar Tunde. Cincinnati, get ready.
Okay, and then this is July 12th of 2026. We're almost done too. Oh, sorry about that. I pulled it up twice. Okay, I don't know if let's go to see if he actually talks. Here we go.
From Barbados to Brooklyn, from Haiti to Highland Park, Michigan. Shout out to all. From Brazil to Costa Rica to Atlanta to Texas, St. Louis, Chattanooga, Nashville, King Kong. I just want to give a shout out to Detroit. I just want to give a shout out to Detroit. I just want to give a shout out to all my Detroit Africans for showing me nothing but love yesterday at the African World Festival. This was Dr. Umar's first time at the African World Festival. I'd never been to the African World Festival before. This was my first time. It was nothing but love. You know how we do with all the pictures. If we took a picture yesterday, make sure you send me the picture.
Okay, we talked about why he does that too yesterday.
If we took a picture yesterday, make sure you
see. He wants the women to send him a picture that he took so that he can have their because they're going to text it to him. He'll have their phone number, and then once he has their phone number, he can always text them back and try to exploit them financially or sexually. So that's why he does that.
Send me the picture. It was nothing but love. Make sure y'all hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy.
Yeah, TJ says that the last thing I'll say is if it's not a cover up, why was there missing organs when the second examiner did the autopsy? I know how an autopsy is done. Yeah, this has already been explained by experts that the initial autopsy, what happens is if they want to do further investigation on an organ or organs, they will extract those from the body. And that's what they did here. And they're examining specifically the lungs to see if there is water in the lungs, because that could be an indicator that he drowned. If there's no water in the lung, that could also be an indicator that he didn't drown, although they said there's other factors that they have to consider. And then in terms of the neck, the reason why the neck is missing is because they're the initial examination, not the secondary, but the initial one, they're looking at whether or not there's any microfractures in the throat. Did I say lungs? Yeah, so lungs and throat. And if there are microfractures in the throat, that could be indicative of strangulation. And if it's strangulation, then now we know that it's foul play, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he drowned. He could have been choked out and unalive that way. If that makes sense. And then his body dumped off into the water. That's what I'm saying. There's different possibilities, but the truth of the matter is that we don't know. I don't know. And TJ, no disrespect, you don't know. And no one knows unless there was foul play that took place and the person or persons who committed the foul play, they would know. Or if there were eyewitnesses to that alleged event, they would know. But as of right now, I have not seen any evidence to prove any of that to be the case. I'll say I simply don't know. And then let's see where this goes. I mean, it could be possible that he didn't get on the boat. There's people who say that he did. Or it could be possible that he got on the boat. There's people who say that he didn't. The point that I'm making is I don't know. And there's a lot of information out here that people are running with based upon race, not based upon facts, but based upon race, because the narrative that fits their worldview is more racialized. My approach, listen, I've set that aside. I've set it aside completely. See? What I would like to see is for the investigation to be completed and for Benjamin Krupp and his team to continue to do what they're doing. And then the local investigators, they do what they do. And then if this goes to, once it goes to the grand jury, if charges need to be filed and that takes place, I would like to see that take place. And then for there to be a trial. Okay. But if there's no evidence that would lead the grand jury to indict, then it is what it is, unless there's any other evidence out there that surfaces at a certain point. But see, what's going to happen? Let me tell you what's going to happen. If the grand jury indicts somebody, then people who believe that there was no foul play, they're going to be outraged. People who believe that there was foul play, they're going to be happy. But this is emotionalism on both sides. If this goes to trial and no one's convicted, then the people who are happy about the indictment from the grand jury, they're going to be upset. And then the people who were upset about the indictment taking place in the first place, they're going to be happy. Well, it's still emotionalism. And a lot of people, their orientation to this is emotionalism. And a lot of it has to do with race. Again, do I know what happened? No. But I'm not going to formulate an opinion based upon race or based upon videos that people are doing on YouTube where what they're saying contradicts. As an example, we covered earlier, it actually contradicts what Ben Crump revealed in the secondary autopsy. So who am I going to believe? The person who conducted the autopsy or some random people who get online and one of them got on scrubs on and start talking out the side of their neck and contradicting themselves. But you see how people got emotional when I brought that up? Why? Again, I'm impartial. And I don't know. And like I said before, why do we get upset and emotional? And in some cases, we tell people they shouldn't be talking about something when we don't even know what happened in the first place. All right. Thank you, TJ. So anyway, the extraction of those organs it doesn't have anything to do with a cover up based upon what the experts have stated. Okay. I can't remember the lady's name. Nancy Grace had a couple of coroners that she interviewed, and they said that that's normal procedure or practice for if they want to look further into it. And it's actually a good thing, because if they actually find that there's fractures in the throat, then that could be indicative of strangulation. And then now we have a whole other realm of possibilities, right? But again, I can't react just based upon what people are saying online, because the people who are saying certain things online, they don't have any more evidence, and they haven't seen any more evidence than we have, right? Okay, thanks, TJ. And then also TJ says, we know that there is systemic racism, no denying. Yeah, absolutely. And again, I've never stated that racism does not exist. See, but because this is a racialized topic, if I say something that people don't want to hear, even though in my opinion it's rational, if I say something that people don't want to hear, they go to that. They'll say, well, what? You're saying that there is no racism? Well, okay, that assumes that racism played a role in this situation. Could it have played a role in it? Absolutely. Did it? I don't know that to be a fact right now. Can anyone provide me with any proof that race played a role in this in the chat room? See, that's why people go to that. Well, you're saying that racism does. I never said that. In fact, I think it was yesterday or last week. I told people, no, that's something that I have to deal with that every single day. I'm 50. What? I haven't experienced racism? Come on, people. Can anyone give me anything? That's part of the autopsy process. Okay? Millie says a racist part of this, even how we see the case. No, I'm specifically talking about the death of Nolan Wells. Can someone provide me with an example of how race played a role in that? I'm specifically talking about now people's perception of what has taken place. Yeah, race definitely plays a role. That's part of the point that I've been making as I've talked about this. Again, like I said, if I say something that people don't want to hear because of how they view this based upon race, then they'll go to, what are you saying that racism doesn't exist? I never said that racism doesn't exist. What I'm asking right now is, can anyone provide me with any concrete evidence that would prove that racism played a role in the death of Nolan Wells? Okay. Under normal circumstances, it takes weeks. Yeah, what there was a guy again, Nancy. He said it can take longer than weeks, right? Especially if they want to they want to further do further investigations, right? And I think that's what they're doing right now. Well, that's what the expert, he was saying that they're testing. I'm sure that they're testing the lungs and they're testing the throat, which makes sense. And if they find something, okay, now we can cross out some of these other options, right? But as of right now, no, I don't know. I don't know what happened, and that's okay. It's perfectly okay. See, I think again, the emotionalism makes people want to rush to judgment on things. Could race have played a role? Absolutely. Is it possible? Yeah. It's also possible that it didn't, and that's okay too. And then it's okay to say, I don't know, instead of rushing to judgment and just jumping to conclusions. I'm just not with that. That's no. That's why, if I had time, I would have been following this step by step, and I would just simply be asking critical questions, not to prove a point that somehow I know what happened. No, because I don't know what happened. Okay. Anyway, thank you for that comment. Let's see. Race is playing a role in how media is covering it, blaming the victim. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's on both sides too, because there's people who are blaming the victim. There's people who blame his parents. There's also people who are blaming his friends. Okay, could his friends have had something to do with it? Yeah. But where's the proof for that? Okay. Either way, you see what I'm saying? Either way. It's Mississippi, that's enough. No, that's not enough. Just because, racism exists everywhere. Just because it exists, more in one place doesn't mean that it's not going to happen or that it's going to happen in this case. Okay. Listen, there are all types of things that take place, and you wouldn't think that racism played a role or that race had anything to do with it, because everyone, but then it does, and it's in a particular place where you were like, no, there's no way this is going to happen. So it goes both ways. Okay. But that's, again, one of the narratives that has been spun, that because it's Mississippi, then automatically there's some sort of a racial component to what happened to Nolan Wells. Okay. Now, in the aftermath, yeah, the way that people are spinning this, race is all tied up into it. That's why people are emotional. That's why people get upset. See? I don't get upset. I'm patient. I said, let's just see how this plays out. Let's see what the facts are, and let's go with that. Okay, I'm more inclined, it's more rational to me to believe the autopsy as presented by Benjamin Crump versus two random women on the internet who's making up some stories and contradicting themselves as they're telling the story. And that was the first time I watched it, but just by the first time, I can pick things out right away. See? So patience is important, and calm is important too. All right. Thanks, Tip. East B says some people just get hyped up because the media attention programs them to react emotionally. I was talking about this earlier. Who is still riding for Trayvon? Not many people, because there is no media attention. Yeah, absolutely. No. let me tell you guys something else, because I've thought about this. And again, if I had had the time to cover this, I've been covering from day one, and I would have been on here throughout the day as stuff was coming online, and I would have dissected things. And I've been fair. I try to be fair as much as possible. Okay. And I'm rational. I'm a rational thinker. Okay. It's not that I don't get emotional. That's not the case. I get emotional. It's just that when it comes to these types of topics, people have to be very careful and recognize how easily you can be manipulated by mass media, especially when it comes to race. That's all I'm saying. And we don't think about it because we're so used to it. It's been ingrained in media for such a long time. It's called media manipulation. I used to talk about this for years. I was going to make a point, East B. Some people just get, oh yeah. So let me share something with you, because if I had the time to really dig into this kind of stuff, and if I had time to do YouTube full time, it's supposed to be a short show, do YouTube full time. One of the things that I would have explained from the jump when it comes to this Nolan Wells case, but it can be applied to other, it can be applied to even any situation dealing with race. I don't have an actual terminology for this, but I'll give you the concept of it. So on one hand, and I'm specifically talking about here in the United States of America, you have people who, in general, I'm just saying generally, you have white people who, there are some white people who are unwilling to admit that racism is a problem here in the United States of America. And part of the reason is because they're not experiencing it. So there's racism deniers. So if there is a case where there is racism involved, there are some white people, I'm saying some, who will already say that, no, race is not a factor, and they dismiss it. But part of the reason why is because they haven't had that experience. So they don't have like a personal experience that they can draw from. Okay. But then there are also other white people that they said, no, racism does exist. There could be a racial component. Let's look into this. Okay. Now, should it be looked into? Absolutely. Should it be looked into with this case, the one we're talking about here? Absolutely. I'm not talking about Umar. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. On the flip side, there's something else that also needs to be considered here. And let me fix my camera. And that is that I have observed, and sociologists may have a term for this. I just don't have the terminology, but I have observed amongst Black people, it's a sort of racial traumatization projection. And what I mean by that is that because there are race-based traumas that we have experienced as Black people, and I'm saying we, that has gone unrecognized, unnoticed, unvalidated, because there are people who say, no, racism doesn't exist, that anytime something happens to a Black person at the hands of a white person, or potentially at the hands of a white person, we project all of our trauma onto that. And then we say things like, look at what they're doing to us, when they're not doing that to you or I specifically. But because of the racial trauma that is real, it's projected onto other events that allow us, or some of us, to have some sort of a resolution. If the end result of, let's say, this case of Nolan Wells brings forth some sort of a conviction that's associated with race, because race played a role. Okay. Now, again, I'm sure that sociologists have a term for this, but this is something that I've thought about as I've been researching this particular case, and I've been saving videos and all this kind of stuff. I just haven't had time to get on here and talk about it. But I just want to be clear about something. Whether it is people who deny that racism is a problem, or that race may have played a role in this case, or people who already assume that race plays a role, it's still, both sides is problematic, because anytime you're dealing with race, whether it's denying that racism is real and that it's taking place, or denying the possibility that race didn't play a factor in this particular case, it's still emotionalism. See, a rational thinking person who's not subject to that, they're going to say, okay, it's possible that race played a role in this Nolan Wells case. It's also possible that it didn't play a role. And until such time that I have evidence to prove either way, then I'm just going to say I don't know. And that's all I'm saying. It's really that simple. You got to take it one step forward to upset some people. Listen, notice that this projection only applies, racial projection, and this is theoretical, okay? But that this racial projection only applies to when there is a white person and a black person involved. If Nolan Wells was white, would it apply? No. If all of these three boys, it's more than three that was on the boat too, by the way, these three boys, let's just go with the narrative. If they were all black, would the projection still take place? Absolutely not. If it's a white police officer that abuses or unalives a black person, then the projection takes place. But if there's a black one that unalives a black individual, it doesn't apply. And I can give plenty of other examples of this over and over and over again. See, whether someone is on the side of denying that racism exists or that racism didn't play a role, or that racism exists and racism did play a role, it's still emotionalism, because at the end of the day, neither side knows what happened right now, as of today. But people will argue with other people. They'll get mad at other people. They'll tell people you shouldn't be talking about that. See, that's what I'm saying. There's lessons that we can learn from everything, including this situation. See, I'm impartial. See, I'm not moved by the racial component or the lack thereof, or the racial component that exists. I'm not moved by that. But so many of us are, at the expense of proper intellectual process, because it's all emotionalism. All right. 652 documented lynchings in Mississippi. Yeah. And this is one of the reasons why I was talking about earlier, how the way that those young ladies that were framing their narrative, they were implying that a lynching took place, but there's no evidence of that, because that would have been revealed in the autopsy. And furthermore, if there was any evidence of that, the body being burned, so forth and so on, you best believe that Benjamin Crump would have, he would have, that would have been the first thing that he brought up, and they would still be talking about it to this day. See? All right. Thanks, Sharif. Okay, yeah, I was asking, does anyone have any proof that a race played a role in this particular situation? Underage drinking could have played a big factor. You're absolutely right about that. I've considered that as well. Yep. They remove everything out of us, brain, stomach, contents, everything. Yeah. Race won't have played a role until someone official tells us it did. Not necessarily, because let's say, as an example, let's say if there's, let's say, because his parents have subpoenaed his social media records, if that makes sense to people. So even though social media can be taken down, it's all that data is still exists on the servers, right? So Facebook, whatever the case may be, Instagram, and they usually have a policy, and they usually tell people you have to read the fine print. Normally what happens is they have a policy on how long they have to keep it by law, have to keep that data by law before they delete it. Okay, companies do that too, like emails. Like there's certain, at a certain point they'll ask you can't hold emails too long, but there are emails that you're not supposed to delete, right? Okay, so or there's an extended period of time. You may have to hold them. The company may have to hold them for 4 or 5 years on their servers, just in case. You see what I'm saying? So what happens, Derek? What would happen if they, let's say, if there's social media records that are still active that someone actually finds and is verifiable? It doesn't have to be officials, and they find it, and it's like it breaks the case. You see what I'm saying? That could actually happen. Or what if there is someone who witnessed something? Okay, and let's go both sides. Let's say they witnessed something happen to foul play happened to Nolan, or they witnessed Nolan on the island after the boat left, because there's people who have stated that too, right? And let's say they have video evidence of that, and it's verifiable, and the metadata is still there, and it's verifiable. Okay, that could break the case, one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we don't know. We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah. What's more concerning is the county sheriff covering up in the abuse of power, regardless of color. Yeah, the one thing I can say is, and I'm not speaking to a cover-up because I can't say that actually took place. What I can say is that for them to come out soon after his body was found and saying it looks like there was no foul play, that was a problem for me. Okay. Now, could that have been racially motivated? They say, hey, listen, this is a black guy, so we're not going to, yeah, it could be. Okay, but I don't know that as a statement of fact. Okay, but I did have a problem with that. Right. Dre Power sent in 750 Joe says, let him cook. Okay. All right. Okay, anyone have any proof? One Shot Game, and thank you, Dre Power. One Shot Gaming says, Tiff 80, as someone who works in law enforcement and has seen autopsies, that standard procedure and no permission is needed, especially for the purpose of an investigation. Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to see if anyone has any proof before we wind this down. I was supposed to do a short show. Yeah, if I had time, I don't have time, Brenda. I'm telling you, I just don't. She said we could do a meet and greet. I ain't got time like that. I got to go to bed. I got to get up early tomorrow. I ain't got no time. It's my big problem in life. But that's what I get for screwing up early. That's why my kids, I keep them on task. I say, you won't be my age and ain't got no time for nothing. Okay, thank you. I'm not complaining, no. I'm blessed. Thank you so much. I'm from Mississippi, and I don't trust the coroner's office. Things happen in Mississippi that never see the light of day. Yeah, I wish that the original autopsy was done independently outside of Mississippi. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Rentnar says no emotions in common sense. My boy doesn't come back facts, and with his phone facts. Obviously, you're right that race hasn't been proven to be a motivation of his death, but to say it's not, yeah, that's the thing. There are people who say that it's not, but it could be. Okay, but there's no proof of it. There's also other issues in terms of the phone too, where people said that they deleted stuff off of his phone. Well, they would have to have his password as well. So that's another thing that I thought about. They would have to have his passwords. They would have to access his accounts and then delete whatever they intended to delete. But you know what? All of that would be, they would be able to find that with a forensic examination of the phone. That's what I'm saying. People need to wait. I even in my mind, I said to myself, instead of people getting all riled up emotionally, and there's a reason why, it's mainly due to race, and it's the media manipulation in the first place on both sides. That the primary, there were three things that I can remember, three things primarily that needed to be seen before people should start jumping out the window with stuff. Okay, and I'm not talking about these videos that people do randomly that just show up and say stuff like, I have a friend who saw the body. No. Number one would be the initial autopsy results, okay, which have not been made public yet. Number two would, and it's actually number one, but number two, part of number one, it would be the independent autopsy, and that has been revealed, but at the end it says it's unconclusive or inconclusive. And then an audit of the cell phone, and really, I'm talking about Nolan's cell phone. A digital forensic expert would go through to see if anything was deleted, because that would really show, okay, something's going on here. Okay, but that doesn't mean that it's racially motivated, but that means that there's something that's going on here. Maybe, what if there's text on there from some of his friends that were on the boat and they were arguing about something, and his friends was calling him some racial types of names or what have you. Okay, now there's a racial component, right? Okay. Anyway, those two things, and then the third thing would be the toxicology, and that hasn't been presented yet either. Okay, so there's different things that really people, because those are the primary if you will, evidentiary, that's the term that what's the name used, that people need to be looking for in order to at least get a better idea of what actually took place. And that still wouldn't necessarily prove what happened unless there's a confession and some of that information that's found on the cell phone, which I would highly doubt, right? Or if there's conclusive proof based upon one of the autopsies that there was foul play involved. Okay, now we get to take this to the next level. And there may very well be. We'll have to wait and see, okay? Okay, but people go both ways. Okay, there's people who assume that race plays a role, and there's people who deny that race plays a role. Okay? But I'm still waiting. Is there any evidence to prove that? And yeah, I'll leave it right there. Thank you, Seth. What's up, Seth? I ain't seen you in a while. Says pro blacks will never mention Arna Zarsuka or Ukrainian or Jameer Davis St. Louis. I'm not sure who these people are. Do I need to look it up? Maybe I shouldn't. I can't even pronounce that, from Ukraine. Scott. She's a 23. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is a situation where she was unalive. She was stabbed, and she was innocent. She was stabbed on a, I think it was like on a not a bus. Excuse me. What do they call them things? They got them in New York. I'm from West Coast. We don't. They have them though. They got them on the BART system up over there. And when I lived in Oakland, was it a bus? No, I don't think it was a bus. Yeah, that was horrible. Yeah, she was on the Lynx Blue Line. Yeah. Thanks, Seth. It's just sad. Okay. Someone said I have time. I don't. I really don't have time because I've been telling myself I'm gonna try to redirect time so that I'm on here full time. There's no way. There's no way. It's impossible, literally. And I already don't get enough sleep. Anyway, people say I got enough time. How? Come on. Let's see. Brenda sent in 350 jewels. It's a finger heart. Thank you so much for that. All right. Let's see. No, I don't think that took place. Not at all. Yeah, again, I don't see anyone that's anyway. Let's wind this down. J Civic says if the investigation shows no foul play took place, people will just say it's a cover up. Minds have already been made up. Yeah, and that's problematic. That's why I gave the example earlier. You know, that if this doesn't go to if the grand jury doesn't indict someone, then there are people who they're going to be upset. There's going to be people who, well, anyway, I broke this all down earlier, and it is true. You know, it's true. Again, I don't know if foul play took place. I don't know. Okay, is it possible? Absolutely. Yeah, but I don't know. And until such time that I know, I can't be getting online saying that somehow, you know, he was unalived by. I don't know what happened. Okay, and that's okay. It's perfectly okay not to know. Facts. I have experienced racism in a lot of places. Yeah, absolutely. When you get emotional, you stop thinking. Yeah. It's like I've had people call me the N-word, and I laugh. And I know it sounds like people say, "Well, you shouldn't." You should. No, I laugh because they're ignorant, and they think somehow it's going to hurt me by us. Now, if they got in my face and was wanting to rumble, that's a different situation. But if you want to be ignorant and stupid, you could be ignorant and stupid. Ain't going. What am I supposed to respond? And sometimes people say stuff like that, or they try to get you in that emotional state. That's what they're trying to do. They just don't work on me. Now, if you said some of that to my child, I probably would check you. You know, say something, and then you keep doing it. I'll have to exit my children. But let's say if you keep doing that and you following and it gets something like a physical thing, okay, that's a different situation, right? But yeah, I've experienced it all over the place. I remember I was in it was a layover flight. I don't know why I keep saying Russia. It's not Russia. Russia didn't exist. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. And I was getting it was a layover, and I stayed overnight. Then when I came back to the airport and I was waiting to get on the plane, the guy who checked me in, I don't know what he was mad about, you know, and it may have been a language barrier because I just spoke English, but he started yelling and screaming and going off. And I knew in my mind, I was like, okay, I know he's saying something that's because I can just tell just the way he was talking, you know. To this day, I don't even understand why he was so mad. Anyway, it's true. We experience it everywhere, and I know that if I was, let's say, someone who lived out in that area, I highly doubt that he would have gone off like that. It was so unnecessary. Anyway, I'm trying to see. I didn't see anybody who has any evidence or proof that would lead me to conclude that. Anyway, we've already talked. TJ says, as my brother Sharif pointed out, it took 30 years to bring Medgar's Evers killer to light. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let the show be long. So race is a determining factor based on history, and there's proof in that. No, it doesn't apply to this case, though, as of right now. You know, you can have a situation where race has played a role at certain time periods in life, but that doesn't mean that what you're experiencing right now, that race plays a role. So, conversely, you can be in a situation where race doesn't play a role in certain experiences throughout life, but then all of a sudden it does play a role. Brenda says, you're amazing. I love watching your channel. You make my stomach hurt from laughing. So yeah, we have a good time. I know it's different. So we're about to close this out right now. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the kind words. Race doesn't play a factor because it can go under investigated. Yes, but I'm saying that just because it could be a factor doesn't mean that it's a factor in this case. Also doesn't mean that it isn't a factor in this case, right? Okay, I'm almost at the bottom here. I just wanted to see if there's anyone who has any proof. Onus says, clock it. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay, Johnny, what am I ignoring, though? Give me specifics. Everyone said, this is valid and progressive. Yeah, yeah. Well, give me specifics. See, y'all sound like y'all hoping it's not based on race, but yeah, it's just coincidence that only melanin guy got offed. No one's saying that it's a coincidence, and I'm not hoping one way or the other. I just want to know what the truth is. That's all. It's not that I'm hoping one way or the other. Like I was saying earlier, I think there's people who they want it to be about race, so they're hoping that it's about race, and there are people who they don't want it to be about race, and so they're hoping that it's not about race. Okay, but factually speaking, that's what the facts is what I'm interested in. That's what I'm saying. All right. Yeah, that was problematic. I totally agree with that. That was problematic. I talked about that earlier. Yeah, I remember that song. Yeah, my wife, she used to listen to Nina Simone all the time back in the day. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any. Okay, so let's close it. All right, let me finish with these other videos right quick, and then we'll be up out of here. Larry says, any plans on speaking on unaliving of the 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez by famous adult singer David A. Burke? Rest in peace. Yeah, I'm not familiar. Well, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't looked into that, so I don't plan on speaking. If again, if I could, I would. I just rest in peace, Celeste. Many famous PDFs get away with it because their team enables it. And Jared Leto. I don't know who Jared Leto is though, but you're referring to I don't know if he's a rapper. He's a rapper singer type thing. And this has been going on for a long time. But her body was found inside of his vehicle. I think it was an electric vehicle, and there was no indictment for a long time. And they finally indicted him, and there's all kind of stuff coming out. And I think they said that she was 16 and he was messing with her. He's of age. He's over 21 at the time. So it's a huge mess. No, I don't plan on it speaking on it, Larry, because I haven't looked into it deeply, but it's really big in the news right now. Okay, thank you, Larry. Yeah, this is a good point right here. Racism definitely has been used to excuse accountability. Rational thinking can still lead to race being a factor. Emotions of racism, yes, can lead to misuse. It's a crime either way. Yeah, it's a good point. I like how you frame this. I think the rational thinking can still lead to race being a factor. That's the one thing I would probably disagree with, because if you're rational, then you're not going to jump to the conclusion that race was a factor or that it was a factor. What you're going to do is you're going to do your due diligence and wait for the evidence to prove one way or the other. That's how I look at rational thinking and critical thinking too, for that matter. Okay? But I like how you phrased this. Really good. White folk campaign all the time for their own. Yeah, that happens too. But again, this issue, really what I'm asking is whether or not race played a role, and is there any evidence of it? Okay, so if there are white people who campaign for their own, okay, but I'm talking about specifically with this case, is there any evidence that proves that right now that proves that race played a role? And as of right now, I don't see it. Okay, maybe someone else sees it. I'm still waiting to see if anyone has any evidence to prove that to be the case. Okay. Thank you, TJ. Carlos says, random question, what is a pookie? You don't know what a pookie is? You've been around a long time. So if you guys remember back in the day, there was a movie, and one of the characters in it was, his name was Pookie, and he became a dope fiend. He wasn't a dope fiend at first. I can't even remember what was that movie? Not Spike. Oh, what was that movie? You guys know the movie I'm talking about. New Jack City. So I'm not going to say go check it out, but that was that character, and that character succumbed to extreme addiction, and his name was Pookie. So that's where that comes from. You guys see how old I am. I can't even remember, but that's what it is. Okay, thanks, Carlos. Carlos been around for a while, and I'll use that term all the time. So now you guys know what that is. Okay. That's interesting. That's an interesting take right here. If they were black, meaning everyone, it still would play a factor because it wouldn't get properly investigated and swept under the carpet. That's interesting. That's an interesting take right there. Most definitely. Yeah, that's fine, TJ. Yeah, it's okay for people to disagree, right? It's perfectly fine. Lenon has Vulcan logic. Okay. Of course, racism is not a thing with people of the same race because there is no real or perceived power difference. I see what you're saying right there. YouTube says, as an Asian, it's fascinating how often we're left out of the racism discussion, and when something involves an Asian, people get real weird about it. Okay, yeah, well, I think YouTube, I think in general, people tend to focus on race from their own racial identity perspective, if that makes sense. That's kind of like what I was talking about earlier about this. It's theoretical that there are black people who have unresolved race-based trauma that has gone unrecognized or unhealed and or unvalidated, because there's people say no, that race didn't have nothing to do with it, when in point of fact it did. And because of that, there are situations that take place, and then people see through the lens of their own racial trauma and then project that onto a situation, even though that situation may not have anything to do with race. But because it's another black person, they project that onto that. And then it could be about race, and they still project onto it, right? So I think that that's part of it, you know. And I'm sure that in the Asian community that there's racial aspects that take place there too, that, you know, other groups of people may not be privy to, right? But in general, what happens here in the United States of America, because of a long history of racism, especially as it pertains to the enslavement of African people, black versus white really takes center stage, and it has for hundreds of years. Okay, and I have a sense that it's going to be this way, unfortunately, for hundreds of years moving into the future. Okay. And again, I'll propose, and I know that people may say that this is overboard. I think that the concept of race should not be taught because it's not scientific. It's a social construct that sets up a social hierarchy here in the United States of America. That's what it was designed to do, and it still does to this day. So it should not be taught. Okay, for descriptive purposes, if you want to say this person is quote unquote white skinned, even though there's no such thing as a white skin, or this person is black skinned or brown skinned, okay. But as a classification system of a group of people, no, that shit needs to stop. Okay, in my opinion. But we got a long way to go to get to that point. Anyway, thanks, YouTube 5. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. You know, and again, people they get upset because it's emotionally triggering. Okay, I'm not emotional about it. It's not necessary. But that's what it's designed to do. That's the media manipulation part. See? There are plenty of other cases, I'm sure, that are taking place right now where race is involved, like legitimately, black and white, what have you, that media is not reporting on. And people don't get emotional about that. Why not? Because media is not reporting on it. See? All right. Okay, let's wind this down. Yeah, I still didn't see anybody provide any receipt or any proof or evidence. And again, maybe in the future we can do another show. We can actually do a show on this, and if someone has some, please share it with me. I haven't seen it, and it may come to bear soon. It may never come to bear. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, so what you're saying is that if they got into his phone, that they use his face in order to get into it to okay, but you know what? That would also be a digital forensics expert. They would be able to find that out though too. So that's what I'm saying. That key piece of evidence when they examine the phone, all that will come out. Now, when they examine that phone, everything may be blown out of the water. Okay, it'd be like, yeah, this is racially motivated, and let's move on from there. But that hasn't happened yet. That's why I said that the first autopsy, the second autopsy, also the GPS data, any GPS data, but then cell phones, including people who were around at that time, like his friends, all of that should have been taken. And in my opinion, instead of them saying, hey, listen, this was a situation of an unfortunate drowning and no foul play, they should have confiscated phones right away and did a digital forensic expert to go through everybody's phone, right? All the friends and all that stuff to see what they could find. But that's not what they did. That's problematic. Okay? And of course, they have to have probable cause to do that. Okay, but I'm just saying that should have been something that was considered. But to come out so quickly and say there's just no foul play, that's problematic. So what you're suggesting is that how they got into his phone to delete. We don't know if they deleted anything yet. Okay, so we're really putting the horse before, or the carriage before the horse. But let's go here, just for the sake of argument, that they were able to access his phone by using his face. Okay. And that assumes that he was on the boat, but it also assumes that I guess he was unalive by that time, or he could have been still alive and they held him down and did it. Okay. But you see how we start going in this direction where we just kind of, right? What I'm saying is that whatever the case may be, they're going to find that out. Okay. And then we really going to see. Okay. Sharif says there's no proof it wasn't racism. Yes, there's no proof one way or the other. So we shouldn't say that it is, and we shouldn't say that it isn't. We should be able to simply say and be okay with it. We don't know. That's all I'm saying. Okay? I think that's fair. 6 joules for chili. Thank you so much. Okay. Again, Johnny, I'm gonna give you one more time. Please provide me with what it is that I'm ignoring. I'll check inside the chat room right now, and I'll look. And if someone sees Johnny, if he has some stuff that I'm ignoring that he posts, please let me know. And if not, then that's enough, Johnny. Okay. Lenon, the cook crochet me would like to audit your. Okay. You better leave me alone, Ms. Cuthbert. Okay. Yeah, I'm way behind in this chat room. Let me go ahead and scroll down here. I'm so behind. Just Art Paint said 350 joules, says finger heart. Thank you so much for that. Usually I like Lenon shows like I like my stop. He played too much. I need to be getting into bed. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get down to the bottom. Seth says that Nolan case can't compare to the teens unaliving in the St. Louis incident recently. I'm not sure which one you're talking. Are you talking about what they were talking about today at the press conference? And that's another thing that I'm noticing that's taking place is they're conflating all these other cases together. And really, what that's doing is bringing more attention to all three cases, because that's what I saw that with the they did a press conference today. But the other thing is that things get convoluted, and what is happening is that it's magnifying the probability of a racial component to all three. And I think that that's manipulative, in my opinion. Okay? You know, let me give you another example of what I mean by this, the manipulation aspect. And I know I have this somewhere. Let me see. I just got to find it. Yeah, I don't have it right there. Let me check my downloads. I know I downloaded it. It's not popular. Let me see if I can find it. And I wish I had the original post, because it was posted by Benjamin Crump. Oh, this isn't going to work because that's a web image. Let me try this one. Okay. It's still not letting me download it, but I'll just do a screen share. Okay, let me pull this up. We still got about 100 people in the building. Our goal was 400 likes. I don't know where we're at, but if you're enjoying the show, hit that like button. I really need to get up off here, but it's all good. So let me pull this up. I remember when this went online and Benjamin Crump posted this, and this is a screenshot here. And someone took the screenshot. So this is a screenshot of the screenshot, but I actually have the original one somewhere. I just got to go find it. But this was posted July 12th. Okay, again, July 4th was when they went out on that boat, and then the body was found, if memory serves me correctly, on the 6th. If memory serves me correctly, okay. If I'm incorrect on this, so please correct me in the chat room. And people posted this, and Attorney Crump posted this, said repost from Chanela, etc. Nolan Wells investigation update. The streets are talking. Now listen, I don't know if these are facts or rumors because no official statement has been confirmed. Okay, why would you post this if no official statements have been confirmed? Okay, it's just problematic. We sometimes have to follow all clues until the truth is found. Here is what was discovered on social media last night. Social media allegations claimed a photo exists of Nolan at a land-based pool party in Jackson County before 1 a.m. on July 5th. This would be the day after they went out there to the island. So this suggests that Nolan was brought back. He came back, and then somehow he was unalived, and then his body ends up on Horn Island. Okay. But come to find out, this picture, and there's people who actually spoke about this, like experts, this picture, based upon the metadata, it was actually taken prior to July 4th. So things like this, they're problematic. And I thought to myself, why would Attorney Crump post this if this has not, there hasn't been confirmed, and then afterwards it's determined that the timeline doesn't even work? Why would he post this in the first place? Well, I think that there's two things. One is he was trying to get people to take more interest, and that there are other people who have photos for them to send those photos in. I think that's one, and that makes sense. But I also think that it also continues to fuel the fire that there's something that malicious took place, right? But there's no evidence of that at that time. For him to post, I think it was irresponsible. But the point I want to make is that there's people who saw this and they ran with it right away. And all types of conspiracy theories grew out of it. It's problematic, just like the other video that we watched. There's other examples I can pull up, but this one right here, it was serious. It was really problematic. Okay. All right. So you said the team's unaliving. Yeah, I'm not sure which one you're referring to. I don't know if that is what they were talking about today. St. Louis 19. I wonder if that's the one where oh, here it is right here. A 19-year-old was found, from a neighborhood just before received a police call. Officer, 19-year-old on the ground. Suffering. Okay. Pronounce. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this one. I don't think this is one that they referred to during the press conference today. It could be. Teen couple charged. Let me read this one. Tried to keep the young couple apart. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this one. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Seth. Misconference, call it Jerome Crow nowadays. Jimmy Crow. What in the world? Jerome Crow nowadays. Jimmy Crow, but with blackface. 4 years was accused, tried, and condemned because of our skin color. We now do it. All right, let's leave that right there, man. Okay, thanks, Mr. Controversy. All right, let's see. Someone said, she was 13. Are you sure about that? I thought it was 16. Let me go see. Because they've been talking about this on a lot on TMZ. Yeah, the headline, they're showing the Bart Edmondson thing, which is kind of blown up recently too. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I could verify that. Damn, that's crazy. I mean, it's crazy anyway. So let me. Okay, I need to close this down. So okay, thank you. Okay, Seth says my apologies. All I. All right, Seth, it's all good. Let me. You guys be true. Yeah, there are situations where race is clearly a factor, but not in every case. Unfortunately, there has been some or so many instances when it is everything that gets thrown in the same box. Yeah, that can happen too. Yeah, the point that I've been making is that we don't know as of right now, but we'll wait and see. Okay, and then again, if one way or the other, we'll talk about this again before we get up out of here. I'm just so behind this chat room. I'm trying to get down to the bottom and get up out of here. May says, I appreciate how you don't indulge in conspiracies. Maybe it's because you came out of that world. Absolutely. I learned my lesson. We need more of that. Folks like Umar thrive on conspiracies. Yeah. So I was a conspiracy theorist, and I was a big time conspiracy theorist. I used to do radio interviews, conferences, documentaries, all kind of stuff. And I was thoroughly wrapped up in it. Okay. So I know. No one can tell me anything, including people who just get into conspiracy theories. I say over the last 3 years, they're bringing up the Illuminati or the reptilian shapeshifters or the Bilderbergs or the Trilateral Commission or the FEMA death camps and FEMA coffins, and the list goes on and on and on. And I'm sitting back like I was talking about that like 20 years ago. Martial law is coming to your town. Okay, so I learned my lesson. One of the reasons why I got so behind in life is because I got caught up in that foolishness. Now, some conspiracies are true, but I'm talking about fantasies, delusions, illusions. Made a lot of bad decisions because I was in that mindset. It was unhealthy, mentally unhealthy, physically unhealthy. Made a lot of bad decisions as a consequence. Okay? That's why these days I have to take a rational approach because I've already been down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, and I've seen where it can take a person. Okay, and all of that was emotional. It was fear. It was all fear-based. What I used to call fear-based mind control programming. So I see it these days too. I've already walked through that fire. I see it so clearly. So the best thing that I can do is just, sit back, stay calm, and analyze things rationally, and don't let media and media manipulation dictate how I'm going to think about things or how I perceive things or the false narratives. I'm just not going to go down that path. And there's been so many, and not just with this case, there's plenty of other cases that we could bring up. That's what media is designed to do. And people get all upset and get all emotional. They run a fight with people. Some people want to fight with me up on here. Y'all was cool. When I talk about Umar, you didn't have nothing to say. But as soon as I say something dealing with this situation, because I can honestly say that I don't know what happened, but you think that you know what happened, and then now you got a problem. See, I've been down that road. Okay, but not today. Not these days. Can't do it. All right. Thanks, man. All right. U225 says 225 teaming up with Cook Chat to roast Umar Johnson in solidarity. All right. All right. I think I'm almost at the bottom here. Lenon, pull up a picture of Anton. I don't know who this is. Let me look what it is first before I pull up anything, because I ain't no telling what you telling me to pull up. It could be something crazy. Oh, it's a fictional character. Oh, stop. You don't stop. Afro-Punk says clutch. Thank you so much. Let's see. I think I'm at the, oh, no, I'm still not at the bottom. Let me scroll down. I'm just scrolling down real quick. Still scroll down. Jalen sent in so high five 100 gems. Thank you so much. I'm scrolling down. Okay. Someone said don't do it. It's too late. I'll look. All right. Okay, let me just play the rest of these videos real quick. And I won't even comment. There's only like 3. They're short. Okay, and then we get up out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know it's been different, but it is what it is. Let me get this picture up off of here. Here we go.
Make sure y'all hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Make sure y'all hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Harlem, New York City, I will see you Wednesday. Harlem, New York City, I will see you Wednesday. Harlem, New York City, I will see you in 72 hours for the Ethiopian World Federation pre-conference celebration. I'm coming back to Harlem, baby. The city that, along with Chicago, gave birth to the Prince of Pan Africanism. Harlem, October 30th, 2010. A movement was born. A prophet was created.
See that?
I'll be in Harlem on Wednesday. I want to see my...
Yeah, that's the Messiah. That's that Messiah complex.
My Harlem queens, my Brooklyn queens, my Bronx queens, my queens from Queens, my Staten Island queens. Wednesday, 4 o'clock in Harlem. Wednesday, 4 o'clock in Harlem. If you need the flyer, you can text me, 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Wednesday, Harlem, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that's a good point. Said Will said, Lenon, wherever I think said whenever we speak without knowledge, it diminishes our credibility as a people. Yeah, that's one of the issues too, because racism does exist. But if we paint a narrative that racism is an aspect of things that it's not, then it actually diminishes the legitimacy of claims that are made when racism is a factor. And that's why we should wait to make sure that it is before we say that it is. Furthermore, we should wait to say that it's not until we know that it's not. Make sense? Thank you. Full super to SH Play. YouTube advisor Lenon, can we get a tour of your wines? I don't have a wine cellar. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
King Kong. Source of Knowledge Bookstore. Next Sunday. What is next Sunday's date? Is that the 18th or the 19th? Next Sunday. Source of Knowledge Bookstore. 867 Broad Street, Newark, New Jersey. 867 Broad Street, Newark, New Jersey. Next Sunday, July the 18th and 19th. It's the Black Book giveaway.
Out of Harlem.
Bring your children for the free Black Book giveaway in Newark, New Jersey, Brick City. Rest in peace to Whitney Houston. Rest in peace to Whitney.
What are you talking about, Umar? I missed a couple of yes, but they didn't send those parts to the. Oh yeah, we talked about this earlier today. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, I'll go back through these.
Houston, queen of Newark, New Jersey, queen of black music, queen of all music. Sunday the 19th. I'm speaking at 2 o'clock on Sunday the 19th. The Black Book giveaway is from 12 until 6. London, England. Where my London Africans at? Where my London and my Wolverhampton and my Luton and my Manchester Africans, my Oxford Africans? I will see you in Brixton for the Reparations March, August the 1st. I will see you in Brixton, London for the Reparations March, August the 1st from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. London, England, Reparations Day March, August the 1st. I need to see all my London queens for some Leo season hugs. All my United Kingdom queens for some Leo season hugs. My Ireland Africans. Where my Ireland Africans at? Where all my Africans in Ireland? I'm still coming. We looking at next month. My Ireland Africans, we looking at next month. I gotta pull up the great ancestor Frederick Douglass has a statue in Ireland. The great ancestor Frederick Douglass has a statue in Ireland. I will be coming.
Yeah, there is a poll I forgot to mention. Is Umar Johnson a struggle speaker? 88% said yes, 20% said no, or 12% said no. Let me close that out because we almost done. Here we go.
To Ireland. Hold on for my Irish Africans. Hold on for we're my Cincinnati Africans, August the 20th. We're all my Cincinnati, Ohio Africans, August the 20th. The International Black Firefighters Association. The International Black Firefighters Association, Cincinnati, Ohio, August the 20th at 6 o'clock at the hotel. Text me for the flyer. Nat Turner Land, August the 21st. Nat Turner Land, August the 21st. Go to natturnerlibrary.com or natturnerlibrary.org. Make sure y'all make that happen. Y'all know how to reach me. Chicago, I might be there on the 25th. Chicago, I might be there on the 25th. Chicago, I might be there July 25th. Get at me. Australia, we working on it. Australia, we working on it. 215-989-9858. One love. Burgundy Ford.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Online, and I don't know how it came up, but the African World Festival popped up. And I said, I'm actually in Detroit to speak that morning. I'm not going to miss it.
I'm here at the African World Festival held in Detroit, Michigan. Every year, the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History hosts this festival.
Let me see if Umar come back on. Here you go.
To Detroit for about 15 years. I've been coming to Detroit for about 15
years.
It's
the same thing.
To get all this love when you show up out here.
Oh, man, I never take it for granted. Being Dr. Umar is not an easy thing. But getting this kind of love from my people is the fuel that continues to empower me to keep on going. Nothing replaces the love. Nothing. Nothing. And I'll never forget it. I just like being amongst the people, amongst the energy, and just feeling the fire.
Feeling the fire. Okay, so we're pretty much caught up. There's a couple of other ones that we may get into next week. But as of right now, we can say that we're caught up. Okay, thank you guys for hanging in there with me. All right. Thank you for the 200 jewels and the sunshine from ONA. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit that like button. Our goal was 400 likes. We got to 379, so we may still get to it. Okay, we just need 19 more likes. Okay. I don't plan on live streaming over the weekend unless Umar goes live and he does something crazy. Otherwise, we'll keep with our regular schedule, and we'll plan on being back on Monday. I want to thank everyone who sent in super chats, if you sent in super stickers, or if you sent in the jewels. Thank you for that. I appreciate that as well. And thanks to the mods for handling business. Okay, I really appreciate y'all maintaining the chat. Okay, I'm not going to read that U225. I'm not reading it because it probably is something crazy. I'm not going to do it. Okay. All right. And as we always do,
you with my message. Thank you, Sister Avanti. $10 coming on the Cash App. Thank you, sister. Next time, make it 20. But thank you for that 10. I know you barely had that.
See what that
thank
means.
you, sister.
All right. Shout out to Black Mario. Next time, make it 20. Scammer Visions, Bando Records. I did the video editing.
Brothers.
We all enjoyed this show.
I appreciate that $10 donation. I really do.
Oh my God. You don't stop.
But next time, make it 20.
Next time, make it 20.
She came up smiling after
all righty.
The program was through.
Thanks, Nina Boo. Thanks, God, little present.
Said, brother, here's $10. I'm supporting you. I looked at the queen and I nodded my head. Said,
no, I'm not reading
sister,
it.
Then this
not
is
after
what I
Captain.
said.
Next time, make it 20.
Thank you, Keontae.
Times are hard, I understand.
Yeah, that's what Umar
Everybody
said.
doing the best they can, but dreams this big take more than hope. trying to build, not barely
Yeah, thanks for tuning on in.
flat tires.
Yeah, good night, Key Locker.
We not selling water ices. We building institutions.
You need that 10 bucks back plus interest.
We
Yeah.
not fisking flat
What's up, Michael?
tires. We not selling water ices.
He's so welcome, Francis. Got
We
thank you.
building institutions, family.
Yeah, I know.
Next time, make it 20. If the blessings come your way, I appreciate the 10. But here's what I gotta say.
All right, Afro.
Next time, make
We got
it
rolled
20.
on.
Let the whole congregation see.
All right, guys, look at this.
We not fisking flat tires. We building institutions,
Yeah, you said 50.
family.
Next time, make it 100. That's Umar.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Deshaun.
People asking questions every single day. How you gonna build it? How you gonna pay?
Somebody
I
said
say one
$20.
donation, one dream at a time.
I know. It's all good.
Everybody pitching in.
Thank you,
help us
Wanda.
climb. This ain't about quick fixes.
Yeah, you welcome, Queendom.
This ain't
Keep the
about
minds open.
little
That's the most
gimmicks.
important thing.
Trying to leave something standing
Thanks,
tall
EB.
for the next
Bye,
generation.
Taylor. White
and
well.
all.
Oh, my mama.
This can flat
Did we get the 400?
tires. We not selling water ices. We building
Yeah, we did. Thank you guys so much.
institutions,
We'll get to that 400 like I appreciate it. You welcome,
We not
Makilo.
fisking flat tires. We not selling
One
water
Shot Gaming.
ices. We building
Bob
institutions,
Cosmic.
family.
Good morning.
Next time, make it 20. If the blessings come your way, I appreciate the 10. But here's what I
The
gotta
water
say.
ice is a drink. They
Next
I don't know what
time,
they're
make it
called,
20.
but they have them
Let
on
the
the
whole
East Coast.
congregation
It's ice, and they put like syrup in it.
We not fisking flat tires. We building institutions, family.
Hey, Future Engineer.
Institution builders. Yeah. Institution builders. Yeah. What we doing? Building institutions, family.
Okay, it's the Italian ice.
What we not
Okay.
doing? We not fisking flat tires.
Oh, you want to go see Spider-Man? Okay, cool.
We not selling water ices. One more time. One more time. We doing it. We building institutions, family.
I don't know. I thought it was a sickle.
Now
But someone
everybody
said it's
clap your
something else.
hands. Left side sing. We not fisking flat tires. Right
Yep,
side
thank your kids to see this.
sing. Right side sing. Everybody together. We building institutions, family. Next time, make it 20. When prosperity
Yeah, I know
comes
Slushy.
through,
Yeah,
I
I'm from California. Yeah,
appreciate the
Slushy.
10. And I appreciate you too. Yeah.
I don't know, Johnny. I don't know.
That's
Thanks,
the
Victor.
message for today.
Ciao, Michelle. Naomi.
We building institutions, family, and we're doing
Oh, yeah,
it
flip
all
side.
the way. We not fisking flat tires. We not selling water
Boy, like,
ices.
what's the?
We building institutions, family.
Thank you, B, for tuning in, Miss
We not
Controversy.
fisking flat tires.
Much love, many
We
blessings.
not selling water ices.
Yeah, good night,
We building
Sharice,
institutions,
or Sherry
family.
Ferguson. Thank you so much.
Next time.
All right.
Make it 20.
All right. Thank you guys again. Shout out to Black Mario. All right, I gotta go to bed. Thank you guys again for tuning on in. We'll be back on Monday unless something happens with Umar. He does something crazy. Okay. We'll have to wait and see. Please enjoy your weekend. Thank you guys for all of your support as always. And I love y'all. Okay. Even when we disagree. Okay. Y'all take care. Peace.